three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman, from the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Sean S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right here. Episode 32 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horrors coming at you live right here, right now. I am your host, Moodz 616, or you can just call me Moodz. And of course, I've got my hetero life mates with me, as always, DoubleshotJ, also known as JP, and NES Ruler 22, who is actually not with us tonight.
Spooky. Yeah.
It is very, very spooky. Yes, Jeremy is not on the show tonight because he is celebrating his 21st birthday. So happy birthday, buddy. Have a good time.
Happy birthday, man. Definitely better have a good time for missing the show, of course.
I mean, it's a legitimate reason. You know,
hell yeah.
You know, you only turn 21 once. It's a great age, you know.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have a good time, then it's bad.
Exactly.
Then you should never miss the show, because this is always a good time.
Exactly, right? But yes, we wish Jeremy all the best for tonight and stuff. Yeah, happy 21st. Alrighty, so the past week. What went down in the past week in my life? Basically nothing. Been working a lot. You know, this new schedule I've been working on has been really irritating, a little frustrating, because I don't get to watch as many films as I used to. And, you know, come podcast time, I'm like looking at my what I watched list, and it's like getting shorter every week. Ugh.
Wow.
It's really starting to annoy me a little bit, but, you know, I'm trying my best to get some of those things watched, but nothing really exciting happened this past week. You know, today was a really kind of interesting and sad day in NFL football because I just had way too many losses in my in the Pick'em League.
Oh man, I think you're ahead of me now. So I mean, I've just embarrassed myself this season.
Oh man, today was such an unbelievable day. Like Denver losing, you know, to St. Louis, and you know, Cincinnati beating New Orleans. Like just so many games. Cleveland losing this week, which I thought was, you know, kind of a
that was definitely surprising.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, things like that. I took a gamble. I took a huge gamble with picking Minnesota. Of course, you guys were all laughing at me over, you know, Chicago. And at first it looked like it was actually going to work out. Minnesota was up 10-0, and then of course blew that lead. But
I know, I was like, whoa, I was stupid. Damn Bears. But then, you know, I started off bad from the Thursday night game by picking Buffalo.
I know.
Oh, damn it.
And then for everybody out there that doesn't know, Buffalo is my favorite team, and I actually picked against them this week because I figured Miami's been rolling. They've been playing some really, really good football. They've been tough. So, and you know, they really did take it to Buffalo on Thursday. It's kind of depressing actually, but
yeah, all three of our favorite teams, Chicago, which is Jeremy's favorite team, Pittsburgh, which is obviously my favorite team, and, you know, Buffalo, which is your favorite team, are constantly screwing all three of us.
I know, it's just insane. You know, Buffalo's dropped to 5-5 now, and it's just, they're done. They're done. That division's tough too. Miami, you know, of course, New England, but
well, with really Cleveland losing today, we still have life in our division. But I mean, damn, like losing to the Jets was just that. It just is embarrassing. It's a terrible loss.
It is a bad loss. That is a terrible loss. The Jets are a really a bad. They're actually a bad team.
Yeah.
You know, they're not good. So that is a little bit embarrassing. But yeah. So how'd your week go?
Well, my week, it was pretty slow, honestly. I didn't do much. I decided to kind of chill out. I did watch one film that was like 3 hours long, so I watched it in segments at night.
Oh, yeah, the Langoliers. I haven't watched the Langoliers in Man, a long time.
Yeah, so besides that, I didn't really watch much because I was just kind of taking a break from, working on the website and, all that stuff. And I was just kind of chilling and watching some, TV for once. But I didn't really do much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. This new work schedule, like I said before, has been, I'm used to it. I'm just not used to like not having as much time during the week, I work Monday through Thursday, so I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, which is awesome. But I'm really busy on my days off because I don't get anything done during the week. So, come movie time, it's a little more scarce. So frustrating because, the movies are starting to pile up. You know how I do it with my buying, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just go excessive. So they're starting to pile up a little bit, and it's very, it's kind of disheartening, but it is what it is. But, I'll eventually get to them.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. I mean, I haven't did like an official count or anything, and a lot of my stuff is packed away still. But I would probably bet that I have over 150 films that I've still not watched, and that's a lot for me because my scale of buying is way smaller than your scale of buying. So I've kind of made this little thing where I'm not gonna buy anything except for Scream Factories and specific films that we're reviewing on the podcast until I get this stack a little lower.
Yeah, no doubt, right? No doubt. So, of course, we do have a pretty big announcement to make for the people out there that don't know. Well, you might as well do the honors, JP.
All right. Well, a few, I don't know, weeks, probably months ago, I asked the Facebook page, which if you're not a member, definitely get on that. I mean, you're behind on that, guys.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that group. It's one of the funnest things ever. But I asked, should we create an official website for our podcast? And it seemed pretty unanimous. Why do I always have such a hard time saying that word? Unanimously. Agreeing for the website, and I just decided to try it out. And I was, hard at work trying to figure out how we wanted to lay it out. We wanted to keep it simple. I talked to you guys. You guys wanted to keep it simple as well. And, kind of just mainly at first it was sort of just an archives for our episodes. But, then we decided to add the Hall of Fame thing to it and a, ratings list where we have all of our films that are rated and, links to the episodes that we talked about them on. And that's just kind of the beginning. We plan on, having, written reviews from you and Jeremy and possibly other people, news stuff. I already have, different distribution companies sending me press releases. So we'll be able to announce, cool little, DVDs and stuff coming out. I mean, it should be really, really fun. And it definitely should be something that you probably bookmark. All the listeners out there, because I feel like we're going to have a lot of content on there and it's going to be awesome. But it is the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror, or it's 22shotsofmoodsandzandhorror.com.
Yeah. So, I mean, you really can't forget that. I mean, if you know the podcast name, type it in, .com.
Yeah. So, right now it still is under construction. I plan on trying to get the ratings up next. I mean, that's a huge long process because first I had to go find all of them. I copied them down. I had to go listen to all the old shows. I'm sure I missed a few here and there, but I have probably, I would say 95% of all the films we've ever rated. And it's going to be in an alphabetical order type thing where you click on A's if you want to see all the films with A's. Of course, we skip the word the and a, or,
Yeah.
But,
no, it's
really cool.
It's definitely coming along. I was looking at it last night. I was just blown away by I clicked on the letter A and there must have been 40 films in there.
Oh, I
crap,
think,
man.
I think we've rated about 400 films.
Wow.
Or so throughout the 31 episodes. I do know that some of the I had it to where I would put all three of our names and then just the person who rated it, or if two of us rated it. But I decided I'm going to take out the names that didn't rate it because it kind of cleans it up and makes it a little nicer. So that'll be like that. I was really kind of, I don't want to sound cocky, but pat myself on the back a little bit that I was even able to do this, because I went in like not knowing like anything. I did find an easy way to do it, but I actually like the way that the episodes are laid out with the theatrical posters and then the player, the download link, the show notes. Like, I actually really like that format.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it looked fantastic. I showed the wife last night and she was just blown away by the structure of it and just how easy it was to navigate around, and it looks fantastic. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it does cost a little bit of money to do all these different things that we're doing, but we chip in and we work it out. And this particular thing, the way that we have all the episodes listed and stuff, the way that we went about doing this, it also comes with a mobile version of the site. So it is kind of it's not perfect, but it does have a pretty solid functionality on the mobile version of the site. So I know everybody likes to use their phones and stuff. So it's not perfect, but it does work pretty okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome, man. Yeah, I did a really good job with that, man. You deserve the pat on the back. It's a lot of work. I mean, especially like I said, with those individual, like the review ratings and stuff, I was like, wow. Like, I clicked on the first few letters and I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Like, you still have like another 20 letters to go. It's just ridiculous.
And it's funny because like you do like a letter like, E, and it's like small. And then you look at like, S or T, and it's like, oh my God, there's so many films that start with that letter.
Honestly, there will be a few letters that there's not that many, like X and Y and Z. I don't think there's that many.
Yeah, right? I don't even know if we have a film that started with an X, to be honest.
Probably not. That's actually a really scarce letter for films. But yeah, definitely everybody out there, go check it out, man. It's really awesome. Help support stuff. We got lots of good stuff coming. I think we're, probably going to, eventually post like certain type of videos on there from, our channels and whatnot. What I was thinking was more like, collection overviews and, just for like, for film companies. Like, I actually just uploaded a video for Synapse Films yesterday. I think that would be kind of cool, to showcase on there. But
yeah, and there will be all kind of content. It's a slowly building process, but top 10 lists that in written form, stuff like that, opinion articles. I was thinking about doing some exclusive stuff specifically for the website that would be kind of fun. Oh man, there was some other ideas that I had that I was throwing around in my head. We'll keep some of the stuff a little secret for now until we figure out if we're going to do it or not. But I really do think that this could be like a great place to go for like all things horror. Like you said, the videos, post some of our videos from our channels, and even if there's we find that one of the listeners or one of the people we follow on YouTube posts a really great video, why not share it on the site as well?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And that's kind of what I was leaning at too,
Yeah. And also, it will greatly help if anybody sees any content that's interesting. Like maybe some horror fan made an awesome short film or something, email that to us. We'll get it. Then we can always have like, more reach in terms of what we can acquire in content and stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's a good idea, having little short films and stuff on there. Might as well support those little guys, right?
Yeah, and definitely. So if you have any ideas or thoughts or opinions on stuff that we can post, definitely email us at 22shotsandmoodsandhorror@gmail.com, or Moodz' YouTube channel, the Facebook group, Twitter, anywhere you can get a hold of us. We always see it.
Exactly.
Well, not always, but we try to always see it. Sometimes technology screws us.
Yeah, it's definitely happened in the past where we've missed, questions and stuff due to, I don't know. I don't even know what the hell that was about. We missed all those questions in those couple shows there.
Yeah, I know. That was weird.
It was so weird because like they weren't even on my channel. I don't know. It was just so weird, but yeah. So yeah, the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror website, just fantastic stuff. So
head on over, check it out.
Alrighty, so yeah, that's gonna do it for the website talk. JP, we apparently have quite a bit of news this week.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Portland, America. A tragedy of macabre proportions. I can honestly tell you that I have never seen anything as shocking as what was discovered earlier today.
Police arrested 3 obsessed movie fans who allegedly committed a series of ritualistic murders after watching last summer's blockbuster movie, The Blair Witch Project.
Yes, we do. We have a solid amount of news. I was actually surprised. None of it is like groundbreaking, like huge announcements, but a lot of DVD announcements, actually, like films being picked up for distribution and stuff like that. And there's a few interesting topics in here. So first up, we have the Scream TV show. A while back, we talked about we've talked about this a lot. This seems to be always in the headlines, but we talked at The Mask. There was some rights issues with it. Well, apparently the creators are saying that's not true. They just decided to go away from that mask. They're still going to have a mask, but it's going to be darker, almost grounded, evolved version of the mask. They say that they kind of wanted to think about what is the purpose of the mask? Where did the mask come from? This and that. How did it evolve? Just a bunch of stuff. Take away the plastic look, make it more dark and organic. And to me, it just sounds, and other people were reporting this too, kind of sounds like they're going like Leatherface style with like a flesh mask or something.
I don't really understand the point of changing it, because when you think of Scream, you think of that ghostly white plastic mask, don't you?
Yes, I will say when Scream 4 was being made, after it came out, there was not concept art, but there was photos of masks that they was going to also use in the film. There was a really cool, I think it was like a bloody one, but the coolest one was like a burlap sack mask in that shape. It looked like a scarecrow mask, and it was really awesome. I was like, they should have, used these in the film, like along with the classic white one, but why couldn't there be, multiple masked killers? There was multiple killers in most of the Scream films, and that would have been kind of interesting. But I don't understand. It sounds a little fishy to me, to be honest. And they kept saying how they want to, Scream was incredibly iconic. They don't want to go too far away from Williamson and Craven's ideas, but they want to make it new and fresh. And it's all they're basically saying they're probably not going to do what Scream really is, but they're saying that they don't want to disrespect what people like about it. So they're trying to hold on to the old fans, but it seems to me that that's just the facade.
Okay. So they're not trying to disrespect the fans and blah blah blah, but they're changing the mask. I mean, honestly, I honestly think that's very odd that they would say that, because changing the mask to me just changes everything about it. It wouldn't even have that same feel to me. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to judge it right now. I should probably reserve my judgments, but before I actually see an episode. But to me, it just seems like they are straying away from Williamson and Craven's visions and what they did with the Scream films.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but I will play devil's advocate a little bit, because there is a film from the 80s that did the best thing in the world by changing the mask, and that was Friday the 13th Part 3. Because they went away from the burlap sack to the hockey mask, right? So, I mean, it can be beneficial, but, also the burlap sack wasn't as iconic. It didn't last 4 films. It would be like...
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with that one too. I mean, you can compare the two, but at the same time, it was, a film and a half or whatever. And I mean, the Scream, honestly, when I think of the Scream films and you think of Ghostface, you think of that outfit, that black cape with that white, ghostly plastic mask. If they're going to go to a Leatherface type thing, I think it's really going to change it. And I mean, I don't even really fully know what the structure of the Scream show is going to be. Is it structured like a half an hour type show?
I have no idea. I'm actually, I think it might be an hour. I can't remember that. I think they announced it a while back. But you know what? I'll tell you the difference there. So I'll play devil advocate with myself now. Jason is iconic. It wasn't just the hockey mask, right? Jason was the iconic character. Now, Scream doesn't have that because it's multiple killers, right? So technically, what the carryover is the mask, right? Because, obviously it's the characters that carry over into the series, but the main iconicness of it is the mask because there's nothing else besides, just the,
Precisely.
protagonists.
Precisely. I completely agree with that. I mean, like I said, Scream is that ghostly plastic shitty mask. That's what it gives it its charm and its flavor is that mask. I think changing it changes the whole it just changes everything. You can call the show Scream, but it's not going to be the same, Yeah. I'm really curious to see what they do with this show, though, if they're going to have like multiple killers or, if they kind of structure it the same as the films and whatnot. Like, I'm actually kind of curious to see what they do with this.
You know what I'm curious about? Scream is a slasher film, okay? Mm-hmm. We've never seen a slasher film in a long format like a TV series. Like, how does that work? Like, are you going to wait till the last episode to reveal the killer? Is it like, I don't know how it's going to work. So I am actually pretty curious to see this.
That's pretty much why I asked the question. Like, what is the structure of this show? Like, how is this going to work? Because you're right. Like, a slasher film works good in a 90-minute form. Or the slasher idea works good in 90 minutes. But how do you spread it out over 13 episodes?
Yeah.
It's like, it is actually quite an interesting, thought. I'd like to see what they do with it. I mean, I think it could either really work or it could fail miserably. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Definitely. So next up, we have a bit of Argento news. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Argento was trying to get together another film, and it's called Sandman. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Okay, so they actually released a synopsis for the film, and I guess it follows a character by the name of Nathan, who is a young city boy, a young student in the city who struggles to forget his childhood trauma at where he's seen a killer dubbed the Sandman, and he kind of killed him, but then now he's back. It was years ago on Christmas Eve, and he witnesses a murder of his mother. I guess he kind of kills it, but then now when he's a young student, he sees a beautiful woman who lives across the street be murdered by the same mass killer. So now it kind of throws him into this crazy thing, and there's buried secrets, and Christmas is coming, and so is the Sandman. Sounds kind of interesting. It almost sounds kind of like a throwback. Like I kind of picture this as almost like a Eyes of the Stranger type, or Someone's Watching Me, Carpenter film. Kind of sounds like this a bit, but it's set on Christmas. I think this could be fun, but does Argento still have the tools?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, Argento's later films have been, almost laughable a little bit. So, I mean, this idea does sound pretty cool. I mean, it kind of sounds like, he's trying to do something that he's really well at doing, is kind of like a slasher giallo type film, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I think it could work because, he's done these type of films very well in the past. I mean, it's just really about, I guess, his direction and really casting on this, and really not having, any cheesy moments and stuff. I think with some of his later films, he's not capturing what he used to be able to capture. Yeah. He would have these moments in his newer films where it's almost laughable. It's almost like those cheesy moments shouldn't be in the type of film that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And it just really doesn't work. So, but yeah, I mean, if this one's played straight faced and, kind of goes with what it's supposed to do, that investigative giallo type slasher feel, really dark atmosphere, like Argento can execute really well, I think it could really work. I do like the premise. So.
Yeah, I do too. I like the idea of it being set on Christmas as well. Me and you are both suckers for that. Yeah. But I'm actually craving what you just said. We talked about it last week or the week before, where I'm just kind of burnt out on the comedy horror, and I just want raw, like serious slashers or something like that, and like I feel like I'm like craving it in the world of horror. So like I definitely want it played straight faced and all those things you was saying. Like I just feel like there's not enough of it anymore.
Yeah, there really isn't. You know, there's just way too much comedy in horror now. I mean, sometimes it does work, and other times it completely doesn't. But then, you know, they're pumping out so many like strictly, you know, comedy horror films. Yeah. You know, it's not even like a horror comedy. It's like a comedy horror. It's like, fuck, man. Let's see something straight faced. You know, Argento do this real dark giallo slasher. You know, and yeah, I mean, fuck. It's already got a good premise. It's set on a good time. So I don't know. I think it could work.
Well, you're absolutely right that comedy horror type of slasher thing does work, like Hatchet and stuff, but I'm just burnt out on it. I just feel like the amount is just too much. Like, it does work. Yeah, there's a place for it. I'm just burnt out on it. Like, I'm even to the point where I'm like, looking at the Hatchet films like I used to love these, but like I'm just so burnt out on this style right now.
I think the whole thing with the, you know, the comedy horror is that it's so much easier to get away with making, you know, horror comedy or comedy horror than it is to make a straight faced horror film. Because when you make a straight faced horror film, you know,
you're kind of vulnerable, right?
Well, it is, because if it doesn't work, then it just sucks, right?
Yeah.
But you know, with like a horror comedy, like you can kind of get away with it a little bit. Like, oh yeah, the movie's, you know, it's not really meant to be like an A+ film, you know, and some of the comedy works, some of it doesn't. And it just seems like it's more passable to people. You know, they're like,
exactly what it is. You're absolutely,
you know, it's more
right.
passable. You know, with, you know, if something's supposed to be serious and it doesn't work, you're like, that movie fucking sucks. Straight up. There's no in between ground with people.
Yeah. Because if your film fails as a slasher and you have comedy, well, at least you have the comedy to fall back on. If you don't have any comedy and your film sucks, then there's nothing to fall back on. It's just it's just whack.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why there's so many filmmakers doing, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of a cop-out a little bit. You know, people aren't trying to make those serious-ass horror films anymore. I mean, I shouldn't, you know, I mean, it just seems like there's way more not straight-faced horror films.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there are straight-faced horror films.
There definitely is.
We're just saying, compared to the amount of the silly stuff that we get, there's not enough. We want more of the old-school, like, serious horror.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I couldn't imagine Argento taking this idea and making it goofy. You know, I mean, he's never really intentionally made goofy ass films. I mean,
the Sandman is played by Iggy Pop.
Really? Iggy Pop? Wow. Fuck it, man. He's an interesting looking character too. I think that's pretty good casting. He's kind of freaky looking. So
yeah.
Not bad.
So finally on that, this film is actually being financed via crowdfunding. So Indiegogo. And I found it to be pretty interesting because it's at 92% financed, racking up $151,310 out of this $165,000 goal, with 16 days remaining at the time of this recording. So it looks like they're probably going to get everything they asked for.
Fuck, that's pretty good, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
People are throwing down their money. I mean, it is Argento. I mean, honestly,
I love Argento, dude.
I actually didn't even know this was an Indiegogo thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
We'll throw the link down, you know, just so anybody who's, you know, wants to check it out can see what kind of perks they're offering and stuff.
You know, I might have to contribute to this. You know, I was actually thinking the other day, I've contributed to like so many Indiegogo things and stuff, and I think I've forgotten about a bunch of them, and I never received anything.
Yeah, probably because they didn't get made.
They probably never got made, never got refunded, or not Indiegogo, or like, is it Indiegogo?
Indiegogo, they keep the money that they make.
Exactly. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, what's the other one? The
forget actually.
Yeah, the one where if they don't meet their goals, then the money just gets refunded to everybody.
Yeah. I forget the name of that one, but yeah.
But I know for sure that I've contributed to things and just not gotten anything.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Should probably keep track of this, but yeah.
All right, so next up we have Ash versus Evil Dead. So talks of the fourth film have come to a halt because, just like we always say, this is the new remake. Sam Raimi and Starz are partnering to bring Evil Dead to TV. Basically, when a deadite plague threatens to destroy all mankind, Ash is finally forced to face his demons, personal and literal. Destiny, it turns out. has no plans to release the unlikely hero from its evil grip. So, Evil Dead on television. These are going to be Bruce Campbell starring. Sam Raimi will direct the first episode, and the series is slated for 10 half-hour episodes set to debut in 2015, so right around the corner.
And that's all it's going to be, right?
A TV show?
Yeah, it's just going to be like 10 half-an-hour episodes?
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's done. So, it's like...
No, it's like a series. That's season 1. Unless
really?
It fails.
Oh, wow. I thought they were actually doing kind of like a mini-series kind of thing, you know?
No, it's like an actual legit like TV series. This is the new Remake, dude. We talked about it many times. Like, these franchises are going to TV. I actually heard a rumor a while back that the Friday the 13th film that's coming out is actually going to tie into the planned TV series.
Yeah, that's right. This is actually getting kind of crazy with all these shows coming to TV, man. It's pretty wild. There's so much horror related content on TV now.
I know.
It's really crazy.
And if you kind of look at it, isn't that kind of where the serious horror is right now? I mean, they're not really that like comical. It's kind of, you know, like American Horror Story and Walking Dead and the From Dusk Till Dawn TV series and all these other shows that are out there right now are Bates Motel are all pretty much played straight faced, and you know, TV is nowhere near what it used to be in the 80s. It's far less cheesy. It's like they swapped.
Yeah, totally.
So
I'm curious.
There's way more budget now too, right?
So I'm curious on what Evil Dead we're going to get here. Are we going to get Evil Dead, or are we going to get the Evil Dead 2?
Or are we going to get Army of Darkness?
Or Army of Darkness. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I prefer the Evil Dead, like the original film, over Part 2. I know a lot of people like the comical elements of Part 2. I love Evil Dead 2, but I personally, you know, always lean towards the original one because I like that it's a little more straight faced. It was meant to be a terrifying horror film, is what it was.
Yeah. You
know, Part 2 was those elements, but very comedic.
Well, I think Evil Dead 2, the more that I watch it, I kind of get annoyed at the slapstick. Like there is room for the comedy where it's disturbing, like the deer head laughing and stuff, but the like it gets like slapsticky, and it's even worse in Army of Darkness. And I think there was a little bit more written on this, and I believe they did say something about the like humor is going to be intact as well. So maybe Evil Dead 2-ish. I hope they don't go full blown Army of Darkness.
It does make kind of sense though. I mean, Bruce Campbell is known for, you know, being a pretty comical dude, right? You know, I think if he went back to being like, you know, super serious Bruce, I don't know if it would fully work for everybody. So I can kind of see why they're leaning towards, you know, doing a little more comical side of the Evil Dead. Well, it does make sense.
It is funny when Bruce Campbell gets hurt and stuff, right? I mean, that I'm fine with. It's just the tone, you know, changes when it's like eye poking and stuff like that. But I don't see Stars really going for the like Army of Darkness, like Three Stooge-esque like slapstick. I think they'll tame it down a little bit. I'm sure it'll be there, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with there being a certain amount or a certain level of that humor because, you know, like you said, Bruce Campbell, it kind of fits the Ash character that we see now. But I do want it to be serious as well.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after that, Insidious Chapter 3. I guess they're pushing it back a week, so it's being released June 5th now, instead of a week before that. Just a little update on that.
I should probably, you know, watch Insidious 2.
You know what, man?
I still haven't even picked it up. You know,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I still haven't even picked up the fucking movie. It's like really, really odd around here because I want to find Insidious 2 on DVD because I bought the first one on DVD and I'm weird like that. Like if I can't just have the first one on DVD and then buy the second one on Blu-ray. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do it. I don't know. I can do it sometimes. It's worse for me going from Blu-ray with the first one and then DVD to the second one. Like I can go up. I don't like going down though.
But, everywhere I find Insidious 2, the Blu-ray is way cheaper than the DVD. So
Just
I'm like,
buy the Blu-ray.
I know, maybe I should just fucking get rid of my Insidious DVD and just upgrade it, because I think it goes for like $5 brand new too, so just get them both on blue.
Yeah, so Insidious Chapter 2, you've probably done the best thing possible by waiting, because I feel like when it was out with all the hype, and, The Conjuring it was right around the same time as The Conjuring and stuff, and the trailers, dude, killed Insidious 2 for me, because they showed all the scares in the trailers. So waiting this long period of time, a year plus, I think will do the film justice for you, because I was kind of bitter by the fact that I seen everything in the trailer and everybody was talking about it and stuff. So it kind of,
I never actually even watched the trailer.
That's good.
I never seen it once. I'm actually getting really, really fucking good with completely avoiding trailers.
I am
for
too.
Anything. I barely watch trailers at all. I mean, it is kind of easy to avoid a lot of trailers nowadays, especially like for theatrical films, because I don't watch TV per se. So,
yeah,
it's just a lot easier. But if someone posts up a trailer or whatnot, I generally do not watch them. So
yeah, I pick and choose. Like if there's something that's a little more less serious, like like a kind of a silly film, I'll check out the trailer. But if it's something I'm really looking forward to, I'm avoiding it like at all costs, because I'm so tired of films being ruined for me by the trailers, because they show so much footage.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the reason why I don't watch them. So it's just way too many films. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Who cut this shit together?
Yeah,
it's just so poorly done nowadays. Fucking horrible.
So after that, we have M. Night Shyamalan. I think that's how you say it. He is doing another kind of horror film, I guess. Universal set a release date for his new film, The Visit, which the release date is September 11th, 2015. The Visit focuses on a brother and sister who are sent to their grandparents' remote Pennsylvania farm, where I'm from, for a week-long trip. Once the children discover that the elderly couple is involved in something deeply disturbing, they see their chance of getting back home are growing smaller every day.
Yeah, I'm not
very
a fan.
Mysterious.
I'm not a fan of the director at all. In fact, I actually don't even like any of his films. I know that might be blasphemy to some people. I know some people really like Signs, and even The Sixth Sense I know people really enjoy too, but I'm just not a fan of the guy's work, man, at all.
He has to be the biggest rise and fall of any filmmaker ever, I think. Like that guy was considered like the second coming of like, the best director in the world or something, he was, I remember like his first couple of films, like everybody was like, this guy is the next big thing. And then he just bombed one after another after that. I personally, I've never actually seen The Sixth Sense, but I've seen a couple of his films, and I agree, man. I'm not a big fan either. I think Signs was effective on me when I was a kid and I seen it. But now it's really goddamn silly that these aliens can't open doors, and like it's just like, it's kind of
I know, I don't understand why people like that film so much. I don't think it's that great at all. Another one that I watched by him is The Village, which I didn't really care for either. It's just, I don't know, man.
The Village is a drama disguised as a horror film.
Exactly. He's a very, very overrated director.
Yeah, but I actually think that people realize that now. Like, I think a lot of, even the mainstream kind of are not like big on him anymore. There's a new TV series called South of Hell. Once again, going with the TV series. And it has something to do with a girl who lives in South Carolina. She's around 30 years old. And she's an exorcist, I guess. Isn't that what it would be? Yeah, an exorcist. And she has a demon living inside her, and she's also battling other demons. It doesn't really sound too appealing to me, but Eli Roth and Ty West will both be directing episodes. Eli Roth was already attached, and now Ty West is attached. This is going to premiere on WeTV in the year 2015. Thoughts on that?
So Ty West episode's going to be a real slow burner. I don't know, man. You know, these whole exorcism, possession type things, you know, they're so hit and miss. And I think we can all agree that they really are. There's some that are really poorly done, and making a TV series out of it, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it just insane how many TV series there is? It's almost like every week we're talking about a new horror TV series that's in the works.
Man, horror in general is just becoming super mainstream. This is crazy. It's like cool to have your own horror show on your network. You know, every network's got to get on it now. I mean, even Fox is getting in on it. This is insane.
Yeah, and I just heard recently that USA is getting in on it too.
Wow. I mean, you know, next it's going to be like, you know, the Life Network or whatever.
Lifetime?
Lifetime Network, and, you know, the Women's Network too. The Women's going to have like some type of, you know, pro-woman fucking revenge type series or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I like it, but at the same time, like, I can't even keep up. Like
it is getting crazy.
I feel like these are all going to be like stuff that I'm going to go and see like after their run is done, you know, after their all their episodes are done, I'm going to end up picking up like the Blu-rays or something, or in your case, the DVDs of all the seasons. And I'll go back and check out all these, millions of horror shows that came out in the last, like, you know, 3 years.
I mean, let's be honest though, really. I mean, how many of these shows are going to run more than like 2 seasons?
Yeah.
You know, I just can't see a lot of these ones actually working out too well. Like, you know, this exorcism type show. I mean, it could work, but it might not at all. You know, it might not even last a season. Who knows? I don't know. I think it's almost like becoming oversaturated in TV right now. It's insane. I mean, it seems like every week there's another show being released, and it's like, you know, the horror related TV shows are becoming like the new NCIS shows.
Yeah. And we still don't have an anthology.
I know, and that's so fucking bizarre. You know, considering we've had so many of them back in the 80s and early 90s and stuff, and no one's brought this to the table.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's weird.
So crazy.
Definitely bizarre. So after that, we have Sony Pictures, who picked up a film called A Man in the Dark. This is a ghost house film, and it's directed by Fede Alvarez, who you might be familiar with because he directed the Evil Dead remake. This one follows 3 teens who get away with a perfectly planned home robbery. They set their sights on another payout that will get them out of crime forever. Their target, a reclusive blind man with $1 million in hiding. When they break into his home, the tables are turned and they find themselves fighting for survival against a psychopath with secrets of his own. Almost sounds a bit collectory and kind of like, I don't know, it sounds alright. You know, I like the Evil Dead remake more than you guys did, but Fede Alvarez definitely did a good job directing the Evil Dead remake, at least, right?
Yeah, I had no problem with the direction of the film. You know, it was pretty well done. The effects were good in the film. You know, I mean, I don't really want to sit here because we're going to get into like a 25-minute conversation about the Evil Dead remake. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, if he takes those elements, you know, good cinematography and, you know, good directing abilities and good effects and stuff, I think this could work. You know, I mean, those are the type of things that you need in this type of film though, right? So. Yeah,
and, you know, not the most original idea, but it all depends on what you do with the idea.
That's precisely what I was talking about. You know, the idea, it's not that original, so you need to have some really good, you know, kind of direction and, you know, create some awesome atmosphere, good effects and stuff to really make this one work, kind of stick out, you know? Yeah,
definitely. So. The whole, like, a blind man with $1 million in hiding sounds a bit cheesy to me. Almost like the House on Haunted Hill like remake where it's like $1 million to come in here. Like, it just sounds like a bit gimmicky and cheesy. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
So after that, this is like kind of the last of the news until we get to like the DVDs and stuff. But Universal plans to take their beloved monsters, the Universal classic monsters, you know, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all of those guys, and they want to take them out of the horror genre and place them into the action-adventure genre because they see what kind of universe Marvel has created, and they want to hop on that. They want to get some of that money.
Damn you, Marvel and DC. Thank you for oversaturating the market with fucking Marvel films, and look what you've done. You've taken our horror fucking amazing characters and made them action heroes. I'm not very impressed with this.
Yeah, they said Dracula Untold will be the first in the new series, which I haven't seen it. I've heard mixed things about it. Then they're going to go on to The Mummy, which is supposed to come out next year, and then The Wolfman, and then Creature from the Black Lagoon, and all the others will follow that, and they will probably team up into a, Avengers-esque style at the end of all these. Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? I hate this idea. They're hate it. And I'm
desecrating Universal monsters. Fucking Universal, man. What the fuck is wrong with them? Like, these are classic horror characters that are just being fucking drugged through the fucking mud right now. This is bullshit.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm not big into the classics. I'm just not familiar with them, but I know that I don't like my horror turned to action. I don't really like action horror to begin with. It works sometimes. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't think they blend very well most of the time. I much more prefer comedy horror, even though, I've been hating on that a little bit lately. Sci-fi horror, I love that stuff. I just don't, like, action and horror don't mix to me. So, but they're not even planning on making it like an action horror film. Like, they're turning the monsters into, like, essentially superheroes.
It's so fucking silly, man. It's just making me laugh. It's so ridiculous. Like, so ridiculous. I mean, can you picture Frankenstein as a fucking superhero?
I mean, honestly, yeah, I could, like, in, like, a comic, like, I can see it be, like, this spin-off, like somebody created a team of, like, superheroes that were, like, monsters or something, but it's, like, don't take the actual, like, source and turn it into that. Like, you can do some kind of, like, different film where you're, like, just kind of have, like, these characters, but, like, when you're actually saying, like, we're taking those and now we're doing this with them, that's when you really just kind of, destroy the grave of these, like, classic, iconic characters.
Oh, I completely agree. I think this is horse shit. It's like it's all about money right now. They don't even give a shit about the legacy or the characters. They're just creating, just bullshit out of this, man. I don't even know what to say about it. I mean, ever since it got announced, all I've done is just shake my head at it. I'm just like, I haven't really heard anyone say. Have you heard anyone say, yeah, I like this idea. I think this is really cool.
Well, Rich kind of said that he liked, I think he said he liked Dracula Untold, and he liked, but see, Rich really likes the comic book movies, and he really likes the like, action stuff as well. Like, I'm not a big fan of superhero films. Like, I like the X-Men, and I like them in small doses. I don't give a damn about, like, how big the Avengers is. To me, I saw it, and I was like, yeah, it's like an action movie. Like, I'm not blown away by this type of stuff. It looks cool. Yeah, it's like a spectacle, but, like, I'm a horror fan, I'm not a superhero fan. I'm definitely not an action fan. I like Die Hard, but I mean, I don't get excited for new action films coming out. Like, and to see, like, these characters being, hold up, before we get into that, there was a round table discussion on this by the people at Universal and other people and stuff, and here's actually a little I can't even, alright, I'm gonna try to say this. Alright, this is a little bit of the interview. We don't have any capes. They're referring to superheroes. But what we do have is an incredible legacy in history with the monster characters. We've tried over the years to make monster movies, unsuccessfully, actually, and we had an epiphany, which is that the horror genre has a ceiling. It's not global. There's a reason why monster characters are enduring generation upon generation, so we took a good hard look at it, and we settled upon an idea, which is to take it out of the horror genre and put it into the action-adventure genre and make it present day. Bringing these incredible, rich, and complex characters into the present day and reimagine them and reintroduce them to a contemporary audience. Are you fucking kidding me? What a load of bullshit.
What do you mean they made monster movies like unsuccessfully?
Yeah, because they made them action movies, like the goddamn Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, the old
Van Helsing,
Universal films were fantastic. They can't say that those were unsuccessful. I mean, yeah, when you start fucking making Mummy action films and starring, casting Brendan Fraser as your lead, what they're trying to do, you need a punch in the fucking face for that shit, man. That's
what
ridiculous.
They're trying to do here is make excuses. So they're saying we've tried to reboot them as horror films, but they failed. No, they didn't fail because they were just like horror isn't that interesting anymore. They failed because you didn't do a good job. Like the Wolfman film, I haven't seen it. I know there are fans of it, the last Wolfman film, but from what I understand, the trailers look pretty CGI heavy, looked like the same old shit. Like,
there is fans of that film. Personally, I thought it was a piece of shit. I saw it in the theater, and actually I saw it with the wife, and we both walked out of there. And it was kind of funny because I was on this string of, I'd been to the theater, I think it was like the last 5-6 films I'd seen in the theater. I fucking hated every one of them. And, that was kind of like the end of the road for me. And I was just like, what the fuck? Every time I go to the theater, there's a fucking movie I watch and it sucks. And, that was one of them. I really didn't care for it. I do see why people could like it, but there was some pretty shitty CGI in it and stuff. And I didn't really care for the story at all and stuff. It just wasn't interesting.
But you are 100% agreeing with me when you say that is not like horror's fault. They're saying like the reason those films weren't successful is because horror has a ceiling and it can only go so far, and people just aren't interested in horror films. Like, it drives me crazy that they're trying to say this. Like you're actually insulting.
They're just trying to justify. They're just trying to fucking justify their fucking ignorance, man. They're so fucking stupid. If they go out and actually ask people what they fucking really want, instead of sitting in a round table with fucking people wearing suits and ties and figuring out shit, like, this is what fucking happens. When you
I guarantee you none of those people are fans of horror or fans of the monsters.
They need to fucking ask the real fucking people in the world, not these motherfuckers sitting with their suits and their ties and their stupid, ignorant fucking ideas around a round table. Go out into the real world and really ask people.
Make it dark and scary. You know
exactly.
what? Just from the trailers of the Wolfman, that one we was talking about, like, it looks too stylized. It looks too shiny. It doesn't look dark enough. Like I did see some cool looking atmospheric stuff there with like fog and stuff like that, but the problem is they're not making it dark and horrific. They're trying. They've been doing this the whole time. Actually, they've already been going towards this way, and that's why these films have failed. They're just not any good. If you can't blame your film failing because people aren't interested in horror. That's the biggest line of bullshit I've ever heard. The Conjuring just made so much money. Make a good horror film, or at least one that can grab the attention of the masses, and stop blaming it on people don't like horror, because guess what? People are not in lines at action adventure conventions, okay?
Exactly. I mean, look at the first thing you see when you fucking watch a trailer for The Mummy. You see Brendan Fraser and you're like, really? I mean, are people interested in that?
I actually don't hate The Mummy, but I like it not as I don't.
Like, casting's a big deal for me, though, man. I see somebody like that. I don't think the guy's any good, to be honest. And, that's one of the points, one of the reasons why it's not just him about the film. I mean, I think the film is pretty shitty, to be honest, but, I don't know, man. Casting and just, fuck, they got to stop with this shit, man.
You're hurting the legacy, man. You're literally, that quote was so disrespectful, man.
It really is, man. I mean, for the fans that really want this stuff, like, they don't even fucking care. That's just what it shows. It's all, the bottom line is it's all about money. It's all about money. They know if they make these huge-ass blockbusters, they're going to fucking bring in all the 12-year-old girls and boys and stuff. They're going to go want to see it. That's why they're making these things PG-13. I guess it doesn't make any sense, right? Maybe 13, 14-year-old kids. This is their target audience. They don't give a shit about, the fucking the real fans and stuff. It's all, the bottom line, it's about money. These are excuses that they're making to try and justify, their new turn of where they're going with these monsters and stuff. They're just trying to justify it. It's fucking all about money, and they should have just said that instead of trying to insult our intelligence.
Not only they're ridiculous. Insulting our intelligence, they're disrespecting the legacy. They're disrespecting the art that was created in those films. They're disrespecting the monsters, and most of all, they're disrespecting horror fans, which is hey, don't do that.
Yeah, man, it is totally disrespecting the characters. All these classic Universal monsters, Dracula, Frankenstein. Fuck, man. They're just now they're just like glorified fucking superheroes. What the fuck, man? It's not what they were meant to be. It's not what they're meant to be. So, I completely disagree with this. For anybody out there that, disagrees with us, that's fine. You're entitled to your own opinion, but this is our opinion. We say fuck this idea. I think it's stupid. And it's ridiculous, and I'm fucking pissed off, and I'm actually getting all worked up right now because the more I think about it, it just absolutely aggravates me. I've been watching a lot of, older I watch Universal stuff all the time, like the older films. I'll pop them in, and they're just so fucking awesome, and this is very, very disheartening what Universal is doing with these, these iconic classic characters.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Universal.
Definitely. And I honestly don't think that many people will be disagreeing with us. I really feel like the horror world is kind of up in arms about this because these are classics, man. These are like the foundations of horror, and it kind of worries me because okay, what if it is successful? Which it probably will be just because of the amount of the money that they're going to put into marketing, because when they have these ideas, they put all or nothing in. I hope it bombs, because I'm scared that are they gonna take my Jasons or my Freddys and turn them into action characters? I don't want any of this. I want no part of this.
Yeah, I want no part of that either. I can't imagine, Freddy being an action hero.
Yeah, they'll just be like, what was a really good idea? Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, Super Freddy. Why did they never continue that? Let's do a movie about Super Freddy.
Oh, God. Fuck, that's funny.
Yeah, definitely. So that's about all there is on that. I don't even want to talk about this again. We'll probably never I probably won't even cover the news as these films come out unless they, change their tune, because I don't even want to talk about this silly shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on. Jezebel. This is a supernatural thriller directed by the guy who did Saw 6 and 7, I believe, and written by the guy who did Hell Baby and Night at the Museum. So this film is going to be hitting DVD and Blu-ray digital on January 13th, 2015 from Lionsgate Home Entertainment. It follows a girl going back to her childhood home in Louisiana to recuperate from a horrific accident. Jezebel comes face to face with a long tormented spirit that has been seeking her return and clearly has no intention of letting her escape. So this one sounds sort of like a ghostly, typical shit, and I think it actually might be PG-13.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. When I was looking at films that were coming out this year, I thought I remembered seeing that one and seeing PG-13 next to it.
Wow.
Yep. That's pretty much it on that one, huh? No opinions.
Yeah. No.
All right, so next up we have a trio. That's right, I said trio of IFC acquisitions. So first up, we have Ejecta. This one is a reclusive UFO conspiracy theorist. William Cassidy is taken prisoner by a secret government agency investigating the arrival of an alien life form. Through flashbacks, they uncover the terrifying details of what happened the night the alien returned and changed everything we thought we knew about the universe. Sounds interesting. I've seen Midnight. I'm always interested. And of course, you know, I really like the idea of alien films, like horror films, like abductions and stuff, but I just feel like they're often underwhelming. So maybe this is a good one. After that, they acquired Wormwood, or whatever it's called. It follows a mechanic and a family as he struggles to rescue his sister, who is kidnapped by soldiers. On the eve of a zombie apocalypse, he sets out through the harsh, blood-spattered Australian bushland to battle both the undead and the military alike. Sounds like every other, you know, zombie film, military and the undead.
Except for the difference with this one, that they've got it, you know, in the outback of Australia.
Yeah, which could be cool. But you know what? It's IFC Midnight, and like, I know some of them are misses, but like, actually, when I think of IFC Midnight, I do think generally good films. So, you know,
yeah, they've been doing such a good job with their releases in the last couple of years. Crazy, man. They've been pumping out so much good stuff.
Yeah,
good company.
And the next one is the next and final one is called Backcountry. And this one actually sounds the most interesting to me. It follows Alex, who's a seasoned outdoorsman, and his girlfriend Jen, a corporate lawyer who is not. After much convincing and against her better judgment, she agrees to let him take her deep into a park to one of his favorite spots, the scheduled Blackfoot Trail. Essentially, you know, I'm not going to go through the whole plot, but essentially what happens is they start running out of food, they get lost, blah, blah, this happens, and there's a goddamn bear. So this sounds like survival horror, animal horror, all that good stuff, contained horror, all that stuff that I like rolled into one, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, man. You know, they haven't made like a killer bear film in a while, you know, that I can think of, but yeah, that's always exciting.
Yeah, I definitely always like those like contained horror films where it's in like kind of one location, or those survival horror films. And I love the killer animals ones too. So this really is like a lot of the things I love. And what it kind of hinges on is the characters. They have to be well working together. You know, there has to be dialogue, there has to be drama, stuff like that. Charisma. Then you have to have some good setting, right? You have to have a good setting for this to work. And 3, the bear has to look good, or if you don't show the bear, you have to make it suspenseful.
Yeah, do not CG that bear. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, they used to do it in the 70s all the time and make it look awesome. I always love when you're watching Grizzly from the 70s, and like the bear is supposed to be like 16 and a half feet tall. And then like there's scenes where they're showing like, you know, an honest real bear, and it's like clearly not that tall. It makes me laugh, but those movies they have so much charm though. So good.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about that one. I'm looking forward to Backcountry. That IFC plans to release that limited theatrically and VOD at a to-be-determined date.
Cool.
Next up, this one made me laugh when I seen the cover and the title and the star and that it exists. So it looks like we got another little monster movie, and this is Gnome Alone. That's right. Gnome Alone.
I get it. I see what they did there. Okay, now the fucking topper here would be if Macaulay Culkin was actually starring in this.
No, but Vern Troyer, aka Mini-Me from Austin Powers, is starring as the gnome.
That's the gnome?
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, this is gonna hit DVD and VOD January 20th, 2015, when timid college student Zoe witnesses a hit and run. The dying victim gives her a strange amulet. Suddenly, all those... Go ahead.
Gnome Alone? Fuck, dude, I'm dying over here.
All those who've offended Zoe in her life begin dying horrible deaths at the hands of a malicious gnome. When Zoe discovers the horrible history behind the amulet, Will she be able to harness its magical power before the gnome begins killing those closest to her?
Okay, man, you know somebody wrote this script just to get Vern Troyer back on the big screen.
This is not on the big screen.
Well, whatever, on your 50-inch, you know what I mean? But to get him back into films because the guy's writing, he's like, yeah, you know, I haven't seen Vern Troyer in anything in a long time. You know, so I'm going to write this movie about a gnome.
Dude, I can only imagine
the
writer who sits down and, you know, he types up gnome alone and he's like, fuck, what am I doing with my life? Like, he gotta write this movie called Gnome Alone? Are you serious?
Oh, that is so good, man. Gnome Alone.
We can only hope that it'll be as good as, like, Rumpelstiltskin or Hobgoblins or one of those little guy creatures. Or Blood Gnome. Oh my god, have you seen Blood Gnome?
I still have never seen that movie, no.
Oh, man. Yeah, so, I just hope they make these little type of things forever, because they're always usually bad, but I mean, when you can have a collection of all these little like gnomes and hobgoblins and Rumpelstiltskin things, I mean, it's just great to have a collection of all that stuff. So yeah. After that, Annabelle is hitting Blu-ray combo pack, DVD, digital HD, January 20th of 2015.
Well, not really that cool, but, you know.
Yeah.
You know my thoughts on Annabelle.
Finally, Wrecker. This is a film that is going to be released by Exhilarator Media. They have acquired the distribution rights at the AFM, American Film Market. And this is a demonic truck horror thriller. It's called Wrecker. The story follows best friends Emily and Leslie as they take a road trip to a music festival in the desert. Emily borrows her boyfriend's Mustang GT to make things exciting, but the party ends when they find themselves pursued by a seemingly psychotic truck driver who forces them to play a deadly game of cat and mouse with an unknown evil force bearing down on them and a long stretch of desert highway ahead. Their idyllic road trip becomes their worst nightmare. This is going to be put out by Exhilarator Media under the Macabre label. So this is going to hit summer of 2015. And, you know, that label, I actually like that label. I like the idea of that label at least. I've only seen a couple of their films, but it seems like they grab some interesting stuff.
Yeah, they put out some pretty good stuff, man. You know, some of it's not the greatest, but most of it is actually pretty good. Worth the watches, so.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And, you know, I apologize for butchering all those synopsises. I normally don't write down the synopsis just because I know I'm going to suck at reading it, but I decided to give it a shot this time.
All right, so yeah, that's it for the news. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit this week. You know, it's really hit and miss with the news lately. You know, some weeks you get none. The following week you get like double the week from the week before.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Universal Monster thing. I don't know. I got a feeling that it's going to get brought up multiple times on here.
Oh, God.
Jeremy missed a good one. I'm sure he would have put in some 2 cents on that one too.
Definitely.
But yeah, so getting into mood swings here, we're gonna start off with the DVD and Blu-ray releases for November 18th. So this Tuesday coming up here. First up, I've got Actually, I'm really, really excited for this. At first I was contemplating on upgrading this, but I think I'm going to because I do really like the cover art. And I know some people on the Facebook page, they completely disagreed with me. But Christmas Evil is coming out from Vinegar Syndrome. And, Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays are fucking fantastic looking. So I'm really excited to see the transfer on this. But
is that the company that does porn on Blu-ray too?
Yeah, they put, all their peep show type, whatever. DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. Yeah, they have like their hardcore part of the label, but they put a lot of good stuff. What do you think of this cover art?
I actually like it, but I don't know how well it represents the film because I've actually never seen the film. But how much is this one running price wise?
I think it's like 18 or 19.
Okay,
I mean,
that's not bad. You know, I've actually always
22.
wanted to see this film, and that's a little worse, actually. But
22 on Amazon.
okay,
Prime
so
right now, so
I'll probably wait to see if it drops a little bit. Maybe if I can get it for under 20, like slightly under 20, 19, 18, something around there. But I mean, I love Christmas themed horror films, and you know, I want them all in my collection that I could get a hold of. And this is one that I've longly been trying to get.
I'm a big fan. You know, honestly, the cover does represent the film because there's basically a scene that kind of even looks like this.
Yeah.
But I reviewed this movie on my 25 Days of Christmas Horror series I did last year. I did this on Christmas Day, and I purposely, kept it for Christmas Day. But it's a fun film, and I know some people don't really care for it that much because it's more of like it's kind of like more of like a character study than, a full-blown type slasher film,
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of off-puts people a little bit. They're kind of expecting like a Silent Night, Deadly Night type deal, but you're not really going to get that. There is killings in this and stuff, but I think the film is very enjoyable. It's a different type of one. So, but definitely look that up. I believe that Diabolic DVD has it for $18 or $19. So maybe check out Diabolic DVD because their prices sometimes are a little lower. So, but other times they are higher too. But I think it is cheaper though. Next up, we got from Screen Factory, The Dark Half, of course, directed by George Romero. You've seen The Dark Half before, right?
No, have not. Dude, I've actually not seen like any of Romero's films besides the Dead films.
Oh, interesting. The Dark Half is it's a pretty decent adaptation, Stephen King adaptation. I prefer the book over the movie, but the movie is pretty good. And Screen Factory is putting that out.
I'm glad to see them actually grab a Stephen King film for once, because I believe that's the first one they put out.
Yeah, I think so, actually. Yeah. Next up, we got a film that I've been really looking forward to for months and months, and it's a film called Housebound, and it is also being put out by Macabre, however you want to pronounce it. This is coming out on DVD and Blu-ray.
I think that's the first Blu-ray, ain't it?
Yeah, I believe this is the very first Blu-ray that Macabre has put out.
Is that saying something? Is that saying that this one's a good one?
Probably. I mean, honestly, the synopsis really caught my attention like months ago. I remember this thing was up for pre-order, and I've been waiting for this one to come out. But so first Blu-ray from Macabre. I don't know. It looks really cool. So
awesome.
Then next up, we got a film called Into the Storm. I'm not really 100% sure. Yeah, it does look awful. Is it even a horror film? Like,
it's probably like one of those disaster films, like that would air on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah. It looks like kind of one of those CG type fucking. Okay, I guess we'll move along. Next up here from Screen Factory, we got Monkey Shines, and that is Monkey Shines is a pretty decent film. Have you ever seen Monkey Shines before? I actually have seen Monkey Shines as a kid. That's another Romero film, correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it though.
Monkey Shines I have kind of a weird relationship with that movie. Sometimes I kind of dig it, and sometimes I really don't. I don't know. It's a weird one for me, man. It's an alright film though. But anyway, Screen Factory putting that out. Next up from Olive Films, we've got Moontrap being released on Blu-ray. Amazon's got it for
which I already have.
Yes, JP has a copy of Moontrap. I think it's from the late 80s, starring Bruce Campbell. I don't really know much about this one. I just kind of remember, Moontrap, but I've never seen it before. So, next up, we got a film called Penance. This is I want to say Japanese film. It's definitely a Japanese film. Wow, the Blu-ray is going for $35 on Amazon.
Get the fuck out of here! What? Who's releasing that?
You know what? It's actually not. Oh, it says Music Box Films. So I'm not 100% sure what that is. The release does look like a thick release, though. So maybe it's like an import or something like that. But, yeah, Asian film. Then we've got another Screen Factory release, which is Pumpkinhead 2, which I find is quite interesting. Wait
a tick. Yeah. Didn't we just talk about this one like last week?
Yeah, it's so weird. For some odd reason, I think Amazon CA got it before .com because I've actually had Pumpkinhead 2 in my collection for a couple weeks now. You know how I've had such a hard time getting films as of late? Well, this is one that actually shipped to me like way before it was supposed to come out.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't get it, but another Scream Factory release, Pumpkinhead 2. The transfer is pretty good.
Which you've actually already even reviewed.
Yeah. So, next up here, we've got Caller, the brand new Ryan Nicholson film. I'm looking forward to checking this out, man. This looks pretty wild shit. Of course, Ryan Nicholson is best known for directing Gutterballs and Hanger and among films. This one looks pretty damn cool, though. I think I've heard mixed reviews on this one a little bit, but I don't know. It's Ryan Nicholson. You got to check it out. So he actually is he's actually from the same area that I'm from. So originally, then we've got another film called The Crone. This one kind of looks interesting. It says from the producer of The Ring and The Grudge. Why the fuck do they continuously put shit like that on fucking? I hate that.
I hate when they put producer. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking so lame. Like seriously, that's so stupid. Released by Pathfinder Home Entertainment. This DVD is going for like $22.48 on Amazon, so it must be like an import or some shit like that. But I don't know. It looks like kind of like a ghostly film. I think it's something like on those lines. Then we've got another DVD release called Final Entries. And
this is one, a bona fide ghostly.
This looks like a found footage ghostly.
This is exactly what I mean when I say ghostly. Like you have a ghostly looking image, and you even have that like camera lens like viewfinder thing around the title, which is on every goddamn one of these. This is a bona fide grade A ghostly right here.
And it's being released by Wild Eye Releasing, which is interesting. They're a pretty cool company, but I don't know about that one. That doesn't look that great, but ugh.
Looks awful.
It really does look bad. It's unfortunate. Next up here, we got a film called Raw Cut,
which looks cool.
It kind of looks like a slasher. What is the tagline on there? You won't live to see the final cut.
That's a terrible tagline, but I'm like a sucker for these fucking looking posters.
Oh, but you know what? This one's being released by Phase 4 Films, so your Walmart will have it for sure. They seem to get all these Phase 4 films, so it looks like a low budget slasher film. The next up, we've got actually a major release from I can't remember who's putting this out. Whacked Movies is putting out this, and it is the Dustin Mills release of Skinless, which is now.
So did he get a distribution deal then?
Yeah, they definitely picked up this film. I think this is the only one that's gotten like a major distribution deal right now, but it is under just the title Skinless because his release is called The Ballad of Skinless Pete. So it's retitled Skinless. I remember actually when they had like a little mini theatrical run for the film, it was even under Skinless.
Yeah, they definitely retitled it. It's even retitled on the IMDb page. Actually, when I wrote in when I was doing the ratings, when I got to your review of The Ballad of Skinless Pete, it actually titled it under Skinless because that seems like the new official title.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Definitely probably can reach more people with a distribution deal.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, man. So then we got, man, this one looks bad. Welcome to My Dark Side, Woman in Horror.
Is it a documentary?
I don't know. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it is or not, because there's really, yeah, maybe it actually is.
Because if it's a documentary, then that's actually cool.
Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's kind of like maybe like a fake, like mockumentary type deal thing.
Well, then that's actually not cool.
So yeah,
I think it is a documentary.
I think it might be too, actually. Then what else do we got coming out here? I know there's a few more. It actually says on this one website that Graduation Day, the 88 Films Blu-ray is coming out, but it's already been out, so I think this is kind of a mistake. There's another film called Gravedigger that is coming out this Tuesday. Did you see this one, JP?
No.
Gravedigger. It's released by Chamois Media. The cover is basically kind of like, oh man, it looks bad. It kind of looks bad, but who knows? It could be cool. Gravedigger. I don't know. Kind of cliched, I guess. But then Full Moon's Trancer Blu-ray. Was this not out before? Didn't this come out a couple months ago?
I thought I did remember that having a release already.
But for some odd reason, I think that it was supposed to come out, and it never actually did come out. I think this might have got delayed a little bit, but I don't know. If you're interested, Full Moon put out Trancers on Blu-ray. Then we've got another film that kind of looks like, I don't even know really what this one looks like. It's called Thing on the Doorstep. It's an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. The cover is really, really not good at all. But it's an H.P. Lovecraft adaptation. Next up, we've got a movie called Bad vs. Worse.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is pretty. Wow, this one looks really bad too. It's just got a dude holding a chainsaw, and that's all it is. And it, of course, is being released by Wild Eye Releasing. So Wild Eye Releasing is kind of looks like they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel right now, to be honest. I don't know, man. These latest titles don't look the greatest, but who knows? Who knows? They could be all right. So, and then we've got another indie film getting a major, distribution release from Wild Eye Releasing, of course, and it's The Turnpike Killer. I actually have the original indie DVD release of it that I picked up at Wasteland last year. And but yeah, Wild Eye Releasing is actually putting this out, so for all you people that didn't get that indie release of it, which is really cool, actually. It's a fucking good movie. Definitely check out the Turnpike Killer. I will have a review of this movie coming up on my channel in the future. It's in a pile of movies to do, but I'm just so fucking swamped. But anyways, check out the Turnpike Killer from Wild Eye. They do a good job with the releases. So, and I believe that's all I have for releases.
Did you mention the Graduation Day region?
Yeah,
region
I did
3?
The 88 films release, yeah.
Oh yeah, I just actually seen the cover red, and I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing.
Yeah, I actually have this Blu-ray, and the 88 films, they announced 6 or 7 titles, and it's part of their Slasher Classics collection.
Are they all region free?
Yep.
Oh my
They're
god,
all region free.
I actually might.
Dude, they come in these sexy red cases.
I might actually import this. I actually like the look of this a lot.
The transfer is fantastic. I've watched it, but they've announced Mother's Day, Scalps, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. There's about 6 or 7 that have been announced, and it's all part of this new Slasher Classics collection. And the weird thing about these releases too is that they're actually not in the fatter UK cases. All the other 88 films releases are in the fatter cases, but these ones are actually in the thin ones. It's kind of weird. But they're in red cases, and they look sexy.
The Slasher collection. They're numbered too, which I love that idea.
It's a great setup, man. It's a really, really great setup. So, and like I said, the transfer is fantastic. 88 Films is a good company. They're a really good company. So
great. I might actually have to pick that up.
And that's all I have for releases. JP, do you got anything
That
else?
is all I have as well.
Okay, cool. So yeah, quite a few releases coming out this week, actually. Some things that I definitely will be picking up, and some other ones I'll definitely be passing right the fuck by.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Man,
yeah.
I have such a hard time right now with, I just said I was going to not buy as many stuff, and now I want to buy stuff.
Yeah, look at you, man, Mr. Non-Import, and he's like, fuck that, man, I'm importing this 88 film Graduation Day Blu-ray. It's in a sexy red case. Oh, yeah.
That red case instantly, just hooked me. I was like, whoa, that is sexy. I'm really attracted to, the non, standard blue cases.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have the 88 films release of the Toxic Avenger 2, and it comes in a nice green case. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, I think so does the Troma one too, but whatever. Yeah. So continuing along with mood swings here, I just want to talk a little bit about my woes of the past month or two with more shipping problems. I mean, I talked about this a little bit on the cast, here and there. But I've been having so many issues with Amazon, especially with pre-orders. It's mostly pertaining to pre-orders. They would have pre-orders on the website. I would pre-order them. The day they would come out, it would say not in stock or shipping in 1 to 3 months or whatever and shit. And then they just would never get it in. And I would eventually have to cancel my orders, go reorder from somewhere else and shit like that. And it's just been happening to me again and again and again. Even this week, I had to cancel another 3 orders because these things didn't come out. These movies didn't come out apparently, or or they didn't have them in stock. So it was like temporary to stock. And it's just saying that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Right. So to make things worse, you know, now I'm even having issues with third-party sellers. So there's a company that's a third-party seller on Amazon.ca, probably on .com too, I would assume. And it's they're called Cult Vision, and it's basically the company that sells like all the Raro video releases. You know the company Raro Video, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, but they sell, like, that's what pretty much all they sell on there as third party is just their videos and stuff. Anyways, I made an order, you know, a couple weeks back. I bought like 7 things. And, so I get a package on Friday and I'm like, oh, nice. It's from Cult Vision. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. This fucking big box of Moodz is finally here. So I open up the box and I've got like 4 things in there. I'm like, what the fuck? Right. So of course I emailed and they get back to me like the next morning. And I was like, and I said to him, I was like, hey guys, did you guys ship this order in 2 separate boxes? Because it doesn't say like on my order that it was shipped in 2 separate orders, right? And they get back to me and they're like, no, it says it was just shipped in 1. And I was like, well, I'm missing half my order. I'm missing this, and this. And I'm like, fuck, man. Okay, it's bad enough that I can't get any pre-orders. You know, I'm canceling all my fucking orders, and now I'm dealing with third parties, and they're not even shipping my whole fucking orders. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So they sent me another email after this one. And because I emailed them back and I said, well, okay, when you guys ship out the other items, can you just let me know when they ship? And they're like, yeah, no problem. So then they emailed me today and said that, oh, actually, there was a mistake. We did ship it in 2 boxes. It just wasn't noted on the site. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was supposed to have another box. And this is actually Thursday. So I actually waited till Friday, to, see if this thing was actually going to show up. It never did. So I'm like, what the fuck, right? So of course I went through the emails and stuff. And then, so they emailed me and they said, well, if it doesn't show up at Monday, we'll resend them because it's probably lost because it was shipped at the same time. It should be there, pretty much at the same time, right?
Yeah. I'm
like, fuck, man. I am having the worst luck with shit ever right now. This is fucking pathetic, man. So not only, I'm going through this right now. So if it doesn't show up tomorrow, they're going to resend it and whatnot. But the shitty thing is it's going to take like another 10 days or whatever. I've actually had a couple orders through third-party sellers that have actually gone missing in the mail. Like I completely did not get them. So I don't know if it's just fucking me right now or what. I'm just having really bad luck, but things are going missing, nothing's shipping. They're not shipping all my orders together. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. I'm getting so fucking irritated, man. Irritated. And then to top things off, I finally got my Nightbreed collector's edition set, right? Yeah. And, this was shipped from Amazon.com and, it was rushed and stuff. It sat in our fucking post office for like 4 or 5 days before I got the shit. Like, basically, I thought that we weren't going to be reviewing the Squad tonight because of this. The Squad was part of that Squirm, Nightbreed. It basically, whenever we have a holiday up here in Canada, which was Remembrance Day, obviously, on the 11th, our mail gets all fucked up.
What'd you just say?
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day.
Yeah?
I've never heard of that.
Well, it's what we call it in Canada. I know it's Veterans Day to you guys. It's the exact same holiday. It's the Veterans Day, Remembrance Day. It's what it is. There's absolutely no difference. But
except for the title.
Well, I mean, you can call it either way. I don't really know. But anyways, every time there's like a stat holiday, everything gets all fucked up, like big time. Right. And then I even said to you a couple days ago, I'm like, dude, I'm not getting this shit. It hasn't moved from Vancouver in like 5 days. But
so we started even making up backup plans on a different film to review. So I went and bought another film, which I probably would have bought anyway. So it's not a big deal. But it's just the point. It's like, Jesus Christ, shipping is forever fucking this show.
Oh, man, I've been getting fucked over so much with the films that I actually need. It's crazy. But, the film that we were going to do, which eventually actually was found, might as well just say it. But, that's a film that you need to have. It's a great film. But the point is I'm just getting really, really irritated with everywhere is fucking me. Postal systems, fucking like third-party sellers, Amazon. Everything is just not cool right now, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I wish I could just go into stores and buy a lot of the stuff that I do because it would make my life so much easier. No waiting, just fucking have that copy that day. No, because where I live, there's nothing around. My Walmart sucks dick. They don't put shit out at all. You know,
my
it's
Walmart kind of is whack too sometimes.
You know, like I don't really have any other places. Like HMV, completely overpriced. You know, you got all these other type places and stuff too, but it's just not. It's not good. So I spent a lot of time waiting for shit, and it doesn't even come fully intact. You know, I get half orders. What the fuck? I'm so fucking irritated by that, man. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what are the chances? They put 4 things. And you know, the weird thing is, like the 4 items that were in this box, like the way they were listed in my order, they were like staggered. You know, it's like they're just like, oh, I'm going to put this one in there, and I'm going to put 5, and I'm going to put number 7. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is fucking ridiculous, man.
The thing with Walmart, like my Walmart pisses me off to no end too, because like I see those new Universal Steelbooks that came out, the Psycho, the film that doesn't matter, and American Werewolf in London. And I was like, sweet, matter. You know, these will probably be in my Walmart because I've seen other people, you know, like post pictures and stuff. So I was like, I wouldn't mind grabbing Psycho, but I'll probably skip it. But I really wanted American Werewolf in London because I actually don't even own that film. And I was like, you know, like, sweet, like this seems like it should be in my Walmart. Nope, not there. And it annoys me to no end because, like, come on, like you carry the same fucking 7 films, like all the time. Like the films that they carry are ridiculous. Like nobody buys them. Dude, I spend so much time at Walmart waiting on rides after work that I start fixing the shelves, like all the out of order DVDs and stuff. Like I'll go around and like fix them, and I'm like, nobody is buying freaking Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead combo pack. Okay,
yeah.
Put some good shit here. And then so back to what you're saying about the shipping thing though is, okay, so The Squad comes out on this date or whatever. So we're like, we want to cover all these films that Scream Factory puts out that are contemporary films. So obviously we know we have a shipping issue. So we're not going to cover it the week that it's released. We'll cover it the week after, or, you know, the week after that. But it's still fucking us. We're pushing it back like 2 weeks after it's, you know, we're like, it comes out and we still can't get them on time.
Yeah,
barely.
You fuckers that are shipping this stuff, man, you're fucking up our spreadsheet. Come on, man. We got all this shit marked down, and everything's getting all pushed back, and it's all fucked up. Jesus Christ.
I know, man. And it's so frustrating because like these films, like we give ourselves cushioning time to get them too, and you have them pre-ordered. Like you have them
that's what's killing me.
You should be getting them the day of, the day before, or the day after they're released. You shouldn't be getting them, you know,
I mean, it's
3
so
weeks
pathetic.
after they're released.
It's so pathetic when I pre-order something from Amazon. I've got a Prime account. It should be like 2-day shipping. I don't even get that shit. You know, it barely ever ships. Even the 2-day shipping, it's barely even 2 days half the time. It's like
you
5
need to
usually.
get on there.
I get my shit faster than from fucking Diabolic from the States. Crossing the border, I get my shit quicker than fucking Amazon.
Listen,
like Diabolic's great. Like I'll order it, ships out like the next day. I've got it like the week, you know, the next week or whatever. It's fucking great. But
this is what you need to do, dude. You need to get on there. You need to yell at these Amazon people and tell them, like, you want a year free of Prime and you want it in a code, so then you can give it to me because I want Prime for a year.
Yeah, I honestly really should get some free Prime out of this fucking bullshit.
No, it is complete bullshit, dude. I mean, not only is it fucking up our show, but I mean, well, that's the most important thing, but it just sucks all around, man. I can't even, like you are pretty well dealing with this. Like, this would drive me insane if it was me. I guess in Canada, you're kind of used to, like, having to wait really long times to get your, like, you know, packages and stuff, but I get so antsy. I'm like, if I order something and it isn't there in like 4 or 5 days, I'm like, where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? Why is it taking so long?
Yeah, I know. It's like our fucking postal system, man. Like I even order from, you know, Black Fawn Distribution, and they're a company from Canada, you know, and I'll order, it'll ship, and then it'll show up like 9 days later. I'm like, what the fuck, did you guys walk it over here? Seriously, did you walk it from Ontario to BC? Fuck you. This is ridiculous. It doesn't fucking take 9 days. You know, that shit flies from point A to point B. Like, I actually know how it works. You know, I work in an airport, and like, fuck you guys, man. This shit sits around in these, fuck. It's irritating. It's so irritating. It shouldn't take that long.
And while we're on the topic of shipping, I actually have a little shipping story myself. So you remember the Anchor Bay replacement discs for Halloween 4, correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I get a little note in my P.O. box, and it's from FedEx, and it's like, we have a package from Anchor Bay that we can't deliver because you don't have, like, we need a physical address or whatever. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, I cannot stand that these companies don't ship to P.O. boxes, because I can't get mail at my house. Like, they just don't deliver it here. So you're fucking me. And now I have to contact this stupid ass FedEx company, and like, I try to do it online, and they have like the option for like changing address, because I was just going to ship it to my work. Like, it's blocked out. So like, I have to call them and figure out how I'm going to get this thing. And I can't even go pick it up because it's like really far from here. And I'm just like, come on, man. Why is everything so complicated? Why can't FedEx ship to a P.O. box?
Fucking makes no sense, man.
Jesus.
That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
So I might not get my Halloween 4 replacement discs.
That is so fucking stupid.
Oh, and when I got the thing, it was Saturday, and they were closed. So I couldn't call them. So now I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to call them.
That's really, really convenient. Wow. I mean,
and if I don't call them in time, they're going to ship it back.
Fuck. Yeah, and then you're completely fucked, because it's not like they're going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll ship that back,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You got a P.O. box. Go fuck yourself. Alrighty, so I guess that's probably going to do it for our shipping problems. So let's move along to the Q&A portion of Mood Swings. JP, what's up for the first question?
Okay, so we got a question from Dave. This is kind of just a simple yes or no question. He said, another great Del Toro movie, talking about our conversation last week on The Devil's Backbone. He said that was released on Criterion is Kronos, which is considered a horror movie. Have any of you guys seen this movie? My answer is nope.
Yep. I've seen Kronos many times, actually. Kronos is a really interesting film. I think it's kind of, I don't know, maybe a little bit underrated for, a Del Toro film. I think it's got a really interesting premise. It's just different. That's what the coolest thing about that film. It's just different for like a vampire story. It's really cool.
Yeah, nice. I'm actually, I'm probably going to grab that one when I make my next Criterion order. Sounds interesting enough to pick up, and I really like The Devil's Backbone, and I'm actually digging these Criterions. I've grabbed 4 so far, so probably grab all the horror ones that are released on Blu-ray.
I knew that you'd like Criterion, man. Once you get your hands on one, you're like, damn, these are fucking sexy.
They are.
Yeah, and the Criterion half price sale all month right now. So, fuck yeah, jump on that shit. I got about 6 I'm gonna order. I think so.
Nice. So after that, we have John Matrix, who asks, how about your top 5 Hong Kong Category 3 movies, like Ebola Syndrome? Then he goes on to say, I say check out anime. You never know, you might like it. Again, you might think that it's shit, but it's horror. You might find a new genre in horror you can enjoy. I mean, you can do stuff in animation that you really can't do in real life without a massive budget. And I agree with that. That's one of the things I thought of when I was like considering anime. And maybe, you know what, I'm actually going to try to convince these guys to maybe have a featured review of an anime horror film. So yeah, recommendations are welcome.
I have no problem with that. I'm just not very knowledgeable in that, portion of, films, anime in general. Like, I don't really know much about it, so.
Yeah, and it's almost like one of those things where it's like, all right, I don't know about this genre of horror. Challenge accepted. Let's check a little bit of it out.
Mm-hmm. So top 5 Hong Kong. I basically just made my list from like top 5 Hong Kong films.
I actually had no idea what that question even meant.
The Category 3, I'm not really too sure what he's referring to with Category 3, because every time I hear Category 3, I think of like, the Video Nasties Category 3 kind of thing. But maybe he's thinking like more extreme films Category 3. I don't know. I just made them a top 5 Hong Kong list, just on any films that were released, from Hong Kong. So, number 5 was Mr. Vampire from 1985. It's pretty interesting, fun film. Number 4 was Dumplings, and I'm referring to like the full length film. You've seen Dumplings before, right? Like, probably the short one. Have you ever seen Three Extremes?
No.
The anthology? Oh, anyways, okay. So there's 3 short stories in that anthology.
I know of it.
Yeah, and Dumplings actually does have a full-length film for it.
Oh, really?
If you get the double disc version of Three Extremes, the second disc is a full-length version of Dumplings. It's a real nasty story, real fucking gross, but I really enjoy it. Number 3 is The Untold Story. Fucking crazy fucking movie. Awesome stuff. Number 2 is Dream Home. I think it's fantastic. Everybody knows about Dream Home. Actually, IFC Midnight released that. And number 1 is probably a movie that JP, actually, you might even like. It's like action. It's not really a horror film, but it's like really, really gory. It's so over the top and ridiculous, but it's so much fun. Is Ricky-O, The Story of Ricky. Fuck, man, the movie just makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's so fucking gory. Like, he's literally punching right through people's bodies and shit. It's so awesome, man. But I just made my list right off the top of my head. Top 5 Hong Kong films. I don't know. Sorry if that doesn't answer your question.
Nice. Well, I didn't even attempt to answer it, so.
Oh, really?
You did better than me. No, I actually don't even, I still don't know what that means. Like, what is...
Oh, the category 3 that I was referring to with the video nasties were basically the third category films that were banned but weren't deemed video nasties and stuff. Or almost, they weren't even necessarily banned. They were deemed video nasties, but they weren't like prosecuted or, let off or whatever. I think one of the films is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is considered like a category 3 film. And
yeah.
Because it never made it onto the, obviously the video nasty list, the banned 33. And then there was the category 2, which were the prosecuted or the non-prosecuted films, right? And then category 3 was just a different category.
Okay, I'm still kind of what does the films you just listed have in common? That's what I'm having trouble with. I don't know what the question is.
Basically, all the films in the video nasty list were either banned or they were heavily cut films released in the UK. Right? Yeah, so they put them into 3 categories. Right?
But you just listed your top 5. Those weren't video nasties, were they?
No. I just listed top 5 Hong Kong films.
So that was the question.
To be honest,
I don't know any Hong Kong films.
To be honest, I didn't even see the category 3 part in the question.
Okay.
So,
I'm just confused right now. So, next up, Paul Henderson says, what's your top 5 favorite movies from a country of your choice? And it can't be USA or Canada. I don't really like him lumping those 2 countries together because one of them is a foreign country and one of them is not.
Yeah, they're both foreign countries to each other, so no matter how you look at it.
No, I'm pretty sure
every
country down here.
Every country is foreign to someone.
It's like else. Cartman when he's like, they're like, you do realize if you're the only white person, you are the minority. He's like, am not.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I pretty much just decided to throw a dart at a globe, and I got Australia. So I went with I just randomly picked one. I got Patrick at number 5, of course the original. The Reef at number 4. I actually really love that movie. Number 3 is Storm Warning. Number 2 is Wolf Creek. Really love that one as well. And number 1, I'm just like, I really, really love this film, and it's The Loved Ones.
Mm-hmm. Cool. It's really funny that you did Australia because I was actually going to do Australia.
Yeah.
No shit. I actually ended up not doing Australia. I went from, I just kind of copped out because, not really a cop-out, but if you know me really Italian. Well. Of course. And I know it's so cliched, of course, because but I'm a sucker, man. I love Italian cinema. So this list was really, really easy for me to make. So at number 5, we got Dario Argento's Tenebrae. Number 4, we've got Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. Number 3, we have Lamberto Bava's Demons. Number 2, we have Fulci's Zombie. And at number 1, my favorite Italian film is Argento's Suspiria. So...
Nice. I thought that was an interesting question because it kind of handicapped your answer instead of saying foreign films. So that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Joey asks us our top 5 favorite releasing companies, I guess like DVD companies. So Moodz, hit him with the answers.
This was actually a really hard question for me because I'm notorious for, if I like a company, I like to buy like all their stuff, and there's a lot of good releasing companies out right now. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, I kind of beat around the bush with this one, but number 5 is Redemption. Basically, the Redemption is released by Kino Lorber. But yeah, the Redemption line, I love Redemption. They put out a lot of crazy shit, pretty cool stuff. Number 4 is Grindhouse. Releasings right now, they do such an amazing job with all the releases. They don't put out a lot of stuff, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, when they do put out a release, it is top fucking shelf. It's amazing. Yeah. I mean, look at Cannibal Holocaust, the release for that, and everything, all their transfers.
Which I still need to grab that.
Oh man, they do such an amazing job with their features and everything. They're a really, really good company. Number 3 is Scorpion Releasings. Scorpion is putting out so much good cult stuff right now, and they're very consistent, putting out tons of good stuff right now. They're even starting to put out some of their older titles on Blu-ray with some newer ones that have never been released too, which is really cool. But Scorpion, awesome. Number 2 is Scream Factory. Scream Factory, of course, we've talked about Scream Factory
on a bit of a decline right now, but
and that is kind of the thing right now. I mean, Scream Factory is an awesome company. I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but right now I think they're in a little bit of a slump. I think they need to get another deal with somebody, rather than MGM, because I mean, it's quite obvious that they're scraping at the bottom of the barrel with some of these releases, but not to take anything away from what they've done in the last couple of years. They've accomplished a lot and released, over 100 titles kind of thing. And it's, they're a good company. And they have that kind of unique thing with their collector's editions and their new cover arts and stuff. I think that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And of course, at number 1 is a company that I've always loved, and I think they do the most spectacular Blu-rays, and everything that they release is really cool, man. And that's Synapse Films. They're another company that really, really puts so much fucking honest effort into their transfers and stuff. I remember when they were putting out, was it Prom Night or Curtains, when they kind of held it back a little bit because
I think it was Prom Night.
Prom Night, they weren't totally satisfied with the transfer. They could have put it out and just been like, okay, get the shit out, we need the money. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. They held off. They put a little more features and they fucking, worked on the transfer, and it turned out beautiful. And I love companies that really, really care about their product. And, Synapse, they're notorious for announcing things and not releasing them for like 6 or 8 months later. But I don't care. The wait is worth it. They do such a great job. They're awesome. So,
awesome.
You know what? I will mention a couple of the companies that I do still love, like IFC, Troma.
I knew he was going to do this.
It's so hard. IFC, Troma, Blue Underground, Slasher Video, and Massacre Video. Massacre Video is awesome. So,
Moodz is always cheating the questions. So mine, actually, when I saw this question, I was like, that's a great question. And then I realized I really don't have many different companies that I've bought stuff from. Like a lot of stuff, like you said, you buy a bunch of stuff once you like a company. Like me, I realize like I have like 2 of these releases, like 4 of these releases, like a couple here, but I don't have like a lot of somebody's releases to really have like favorite companies. So, I went with number 5 is Synapse. I only have a few of their releases. Number 4, Blue Underground. Number 3, Anchor Bay, because, they did put out a lot of good shit over the years. Number 2, IFC Midnight, and that's just because I kind of am really collecting those right now. And then number 1, of course, is Scream Factory, which is the only company that I'm actually actively trying to get every single release they put out. So that I guess by default it makes it number 1. But, I think the early part of my collection days were just getting like all the classic films, the mainstream classic ones that I grew up with, and now I'm starting to actually get into those like undiscovered gems that I've never seen, that a lot of these side companies are putting out and stuff, these lesser popular companies, lesser mainstream. But also price comes into it. You know, I'm not super rich, so I have to kind of budget. And a lot of these, it's hard to get a lot of these companies because it's like $20 a pop. You know, so keeping up, I can only keep up with like one at a time, which is Scream Factory for right now. But I'll grab a few here and a few there from these other companies as well.
Cool.
All right, so the next question. The next question is an email that we got, and it says, "Hello, gentlemen. Love your podcasts each week. I have a question that I thought you guys could possibly talk about in your next podcast. In the November issue of, I believe it's a Rue Morgue magazine."
Fucking Gnome Alone? I'm sorry, dude.
What?
I can't get over the fucking title. Gnome Alone. I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you, but that was just, I had to.
Okay. Jesus Christ, my dog's going crazy. So
he likes that Gnome Alone too, man.
Yeah. Wait, there's a Gnome Alone 2 now? Lost in New York?
Yeah, totally.
So he goes on to say, in a recent Rue Morgue magazine, there is a new horror channel called Terror TV that is launching in Canada. He thought Moodz would like to talk about it a bit since he is from the foreign land of Canada, and if he is excited about this news and also what he thinks about it. Also, I wanted to know if there's a P.O. box or an address available where fans of the show could send things to you guys, like movies and related material. Thanks a lot. Keep up the great show. That is an awesome email. And first, I'll just answer the bottom part of the question. There's absolutely somewhere where you could send us stuff, and just pick. You know, if you have something you want to send Moodz, he'll give you his address. If you have something you want to send Jeremy, he'll give you his address. And of course, I will give you my address if you'd like to send me something. You know, that's very kind, first of all.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, thanks for the awesome email. That's really cool. Really cool stuff. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know about Terror TV until JP, sent me the email. And just for whatever reasons, it was just kind of an oversight on my part, I guess. Generally, I would know about something like this, but unfortunately, I didn't. And so, of course, upon reading the email, I did some research about Terror TV. It has officially not been launched yet in Canada. They're working on it, and it's going to launch probably within the next month. They say it's going to be up before Christmas time. So the deal with Terror TV is actually really fucking cool, man. Terror TV is specifying in all horror related movies and TV shows and stuff. Now, the cool thing about Terror TV is that the movies are all uncut and commercial free. And also they are in fucking high def. So you can't go wrong with this. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. I was reading up on this and I'm going, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Now, as for the TV shows are going to play like a regular TV show. What I've seen so far, what they have on there, they have like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and they've got The Hitchhiker and a few other shows and stuff. But the TV shows are going to play like a regular TV show. There's going to be commercials and and stuff like that. So the only commercials that are on the network are during the TV specials. But as for the movies, like I said, they're uncut, commercial free, and in high def. And now I was looking at the list of movies that they've already put on this website, and you can check out the website tvterror.ca. There's like hundreds and hundreds of films on here, and really good cult classic stuff, newer stuff, like really awesome fucking, like, they've got, The Beast Within on here, and I'm just reading off random titles like Beneath and what do we got here? Beyond the Door 3, Beyond Reanimator, Black Christmas. There's lots of fucking great shit on here. Blood Beach. There's like really, really good stuff. Like, it's all over the place. The Bloody Judge is on here. This is fucking amazing. The Boogans, this is great. It just never ends. And there's like hundreds of titles that they've already posted on here. And I imagine they're probably going to get more, like Kingdom of Spiders, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Laid to Rest, Lake Placid. It just keeps going on and on and on, like fucking Lord of Illusions. But yeah, really
sounds
cool.
like they have the MGM vault.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of all over the place. But yeah, just really awesome. I got so excited when I read that the movies were uncut and commercial free. I mean, this has got to be one of the first networks that I've ever seen that's like commercial free for films of recent time. Because I know there was not Chiller, but what was the one that was running in Canada before? And fucking commercials. It's just an edited shows, and I'm just like, that's the worst. But I think these guys are doing it up good, and I actually phoned.
Get it? Oh, all right.
I am going to get it, actually. I actually made a point of, not only during the research, I asked my wife if she could phone up Shaw, which is our provider, and kind of look into it. And they basically said, yeah, it's going to launch in the next month, and it's just going to be a regular channel that you can actually just pay for, and it's going to be, at first, it's going to be free. But then it's going to be like $3 a month or something like that. Like really, really fucking cheap.
Dude, that is so awesome. Like, I would love to get like El Rey's pretty solid down here right now, but this is something I've been like conjuring up, like dreaming of forever, to have a exclusive horror network. Like I know FearNet was around here, but I didn't have it around here.
FearNet,
Chiller
that's actually
is
what I was
okay.
talking. Yeah, FearNet, that's what I was thinking of, and that used to be, it had commercials and they were edited and stuff too, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that sounds great, and hopefully, if it does well up in Canada, it might be able to like do something in the U.S. or have a equivalent down here.
Fucking rights, man. Yeah. So, yeah, lots of good movies on here, man. It does look like they kind of snagged up the MGM as I kind of go through the titles. It's like, holy shit, man. Like, a bunch of these have actually been released by Scream Factory, like Witchfinder General, Witchboard.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But, I mean, that's fine. It's totally cool. These are all on here.
I think it's because a lot of times, like, MGM's, like, cool with, like, they're very, like, deal friendly. Like, I remember even, like, back in the Monster Vision days, I felt like a lot of the titles on there were from the MGM vault. That's something that would be interesting if they did on that network, is having like a horror host and stuff.
Yeah, man. That'd be fucking awesome. The fucking Video Dead's even on here.
Nice.
It's so awesome. There's so many good titles. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Nice. Troll. Yeah. It just keeps going on and on. Tix is on here, by the way.
Love it.
Yeah. See the fucking cool Thinner, The Thing, the original Thing.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. TerraVision. Yeah, fuck. This is pretty neat shit. So I'm really excited, and I will keep you guys posted actually for when I get the network and actually check it out for myself.
Cool.
So, which apparently is going to be in the next, he said about under a month. So that's exciting.
That's great. Great news.
Yeah.
So that email was from Ronald, by the way, from Wisconsin. Thanks for the email, man. I love those like longer emails where you give us feedback and stuff. So keep those coming.
Much appreciated. Thank you once again for the email. Sometimes I get a little blushy when I hear the word fan.
I know it's a weird concept. That's why even if you heard when I read it, I like kind of paused and I was like, it's like a weird thing for me. I don't know how I feel about it really. But the final question this week is, what are your top 5 underrated horror films? I've done underrated lists in the past. I believe we've even asked this question before, so I just kind of picked 5 more that I probably haven't mentioned before that I feel are a bit underrated, because I feel like I've already talked about the ones that are like my go-to underrated ones.
I actually basically approached this question the exact same way you did.
Awesome.
I just kind of thought of like 5 ones that I think that are a little underrated. So,
all right, I guess I'll go first on this one. So these are in no particular order, but I feel these films are all underrated, and if you haven't seen them, give them a shot, because they don't get talked about enough. Number 5 is The Ruins. I feel like everybody kind of gives this one a hard time, because it's essentially plants are the like antagonist, and people think it's kind of cheesy and stuff, but I find it's pretty effective in the way that it's done. There are a few moments where they might have took it a bit overboard, but I find it to the survival horror aspect of this film to be like very intense.
Dude, you know what is really, really fucking trippy? I'm sitting here I'm scrolling through the movies on Terror TV, and I actually stopped at The Ruins.
Are you serious?
Right.
Have you seen The Ruins?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like The Ruins. It's a good one.
Yeah.
The next one is Spiral. This is Adam Green's least talked about film, and in my opinion, it's his second best film out of the ones that I think I've seen all of his films now. But Spiral is great. It's a great, almost Hitchcockian thriller. I feel like the performances are awesome, and it has like a double twist ending, which I thought was really, really effective as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Spiral's a good film, man. It is. That's a good choice. It is underrated.
Yeah. Number 2 is not number 10. Why am I saying numbers? Because these aren't in order. But the next one is Touristas. This one I feel like really goes under the radar of like the torture genre. This one was kind of like a bit mainstream, but I feel like nobody ever talks about it. I think it's a pretty solid torture film. I like it a lot. I like the setting and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The next one is Dead End. This is kind of in that Christmas genre, and it's also a road horror film. I always give Dead End mad props. I just really, really, really like Dead End, and I really don't hear a lot of people talk about it. It's definitely solid. Lin Shaye's awesome in it. It's definitely a cool film. You like Dead End?
I love Dead End. That was actually one I reviewed on my Christmas series last year.
Yep. And
fun film.
The final one I think is like criminally underrated, and that is My Soul to Take. Like, I actually think Wesley Craven did a top-notch job on My Soul to Take. I know like everybody has problems with like the dialogue and stuff, but honestly, man, like I find it to be a solid film. Like, I really like My Soul to Take, and everybody kind of just shits on that one.
Yeah, you might be in the minority on that one. I know
a
lot of people shit on that film. To be honest, I put off watching it forever. Remember, I picked up the Blu-ray and gave it a shot, and I didn't think it was as bad as people were saying either. I mean, I thought it was all right. I should watch it again.
I like it.
Fucking awesome. I'm sitting here scrolling through again, and I came across Mosquito. Mosquito is on Terror TV.
Oh shit, dude! That is an awesome one right there. I can see it now. They're going to do a double feature, Mosquito and Ticks, which is a fantastic double feature. I wish Olive would get a hold of Mosquito.
Dude, the more I scroll through this, man, the more I'm excited for this. There's fucking tons of good movies on here, man. Like, it's all good shit. And it really does span, like, right from, like, old Universal monster films to, like, brand new 2013-14 films. It's crazy.
Nice.
Very, very interesting. Alrighty, so for my top 5, I guess I'll just read them the way I wrote them. Number 5, I guess, is a film from the early 80s called Bloodsuckers from Outer Space. Of course, the title just makes it sound super cheesy, but it's a really, really fun type zombie. It's so fucking cheesy and just kind of overlooked. I know Shriek Show put it out a few years ago, but definitely give it a shot.
I've never even heard of it, so
barely anyone ever talks about this one, and it's really fucking fun. It's a really fun film. Number 4, this is one that I have mentioned numerous times, and even maybe on this, I don't know. I have said to people this one's underrated because Cemetery Gates, Man. Cemetery Gates, man. I love this movie. It's a great creature feature. It's got great gore.
Really cheap too.
Yeah,
I see it all the time for like $4. Never pick it up.
Totally, man. Really, really cheap, and it's fucking fun, man. It's really good stuff. Number 3 is Dust Devil. Dust Devil is a film that I feel that like no one has seen for some odd reason.
I've seen it, I think.
You know, I barely ever hear people talk about it or ever show it off. Like, it just seems like nobody has it or seen it. I don't know what it is about Dust Devil, but it's a really unique film, and I think people would really enjoy it. It's just very different. So, number 2 is Sisters, Brian De Palma's Sisters. This is a movie that I think a lot of people haven't seen either for some odd reason. It's one of Brian De Palma's first films, but it's really fucking fantastic. I mean, I think me and Jeremy both gave it like 9.5 out of 10 or something. It's a great film. And my number 1 underrated horror film, for some odd reason, I never hear people talk about this one. And they probably should. I think maybe it's because it is a found footage film, and maybe that's the reason. I don't know. People just don't want to give it a chance, but that is The Tunnel. This movie is brilliant, man. It's really the way found footage films should be made. It's executed perfectly. It's got a great setting, great acting, even the ending's awesome. So definitely give The Tunnel a shot. I think it's really kind of overlooked. So
yeah. And by the way, Sisters, Jeremy gave it a 9 and you gave it a 9.5.
Okay. Wow, I'm surprised Jeremy didn't go a little higher on that one.
Yeah. So that's it for the questions.
And yeah, so I guess moving along with Mood Swings, and we'll get into the Coroner's Report of weird stats and morbid facts, courtesy of Rue Morgue, of course. I don't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, actually. Alrighty, so the weird stat and morbid fact of the day. Okay. A county near Columbus, Ohio, has to pay a total of $68,000 to two families whose children's funeral arrangements were accidentally switched after the coroner sent the youngster's body to the wrong funeral homes, resulting in the incorrect child being cremated.
Damn.
Oh my God. Could you imagine that fucking happening? That's so bad. I mean, how do you have this conversation with the families? Or with the family of the person, like, they didn't want their child cremated?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine. I was reading this and I was like, Jesus, man. I'm like, I would not want to be that person to break that to the family. That's fucking terrible.
Would be rough. That would be rough. That would be a rough one. I would quit my job. I'd just be like, you know what? Somebody else handle it.
Yeah, that is awful, man. I think that's probably the worst conversation you could ever have in your life. Well, maybe not the worst one, but seriously, that's some pretty bad shit right there. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, oh my God, that's bad.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's going to do it for Mood Swings. Moving along into the what we watch portion of the show. JP, do you got a film?
I do have a film. This one I actually watched today at work. Don't tell anybody. I was killing some time. I actually had about half of it watched from when I was watching it at home, but I took my laptop to work and watched a bit of it on lunch and then finished it up at the end of the day. But that is one that I believe that you actually talked about a few episodes back, I want to say, and that is Frankenfish. This one...
Awesome.
This one follows a group of people who are out in like a swampy Louisiana swamp, and there's a medical investigator who's assigned to investigate a murder. He travels with a biologist. They kind of get stuck, and it's kind of like one of those almost like survival type of films. Okay, so Frankenfish, the title. It sounds awful, right? I mean, this sounds like a sci-fi, made for sci-fi, like, Sharknado type deal. This actually is surprising, and I was skeptical when Moodz was talking about this one, because I believe you gave it a good review as well. I was skeptical, like, really, dude, Frankenfish?
I know, it's hard, it's hard to convince people, you know, that a movie called Frankenfish is actually going to be pretty good.
I know,
right?
But I got it for $3 at Big Lots, and I was pleasantly surprised. This is a quality little horror film. I mean, it doesn't do anything, you know, super amazing for the genre, like the, you know, killer animal. Like, you would look at it like Anaconda or Jaws, like that style where it's like these survivors, you know, Deep Blue Sea, stuff like that. I mean, it really is one of those films. It doesn't do anything new or interesting, but the journey is fun. I mean, the characters are kind of, they're not the greatest, but it fits for the type of film. There's some cool kills though. That's what was surprising me. Kills, and the fish looks good. The CGI portions of it look good also, which is you know, really surprising. And they really don't rely heavily on the CGI as you would think in a film called Frankenfish.
There actually is quite a bit of parts with like real fish, especially, you know, the one kill where the thing flops right out on the fucking...
I was like, wow, practical effects. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. I like the, you know, it's almost like a siege type film too. They're like, it's like stuff like Tremors. They're stuck on a bunch of, you know, like houseboats and stuff, and there's a fish, and they're stuck out there. Like, I like that stuff. And this one is, you know, pretty effective. It's a fun watch the whole way through. Like I said, it doesn't, you know, do anything mind blowing, but for what it is, it's really solid. And I think I'm gonna come in at about, I don't really know what I should give this one. I'm probably gonna just stick with a 6.5, but that's still a solid rating. And I do recommend grabbing Frankenfish. It's a fun killer fish movie.
You know what really cracks me up about that movie is the reason why there is Frankenfish.
Yeah.
Like when it finally gets revealed, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I like seriously started laughing. I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, the one white dude who's like the like douchebag, like ex-boyfriend, like that dude was actually cracking me up.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But Moodz actually gave Frankenfish a 7.5 out of 10, which is about a point. That's a point higher than I give it, but it's still a fun movie. I do recommend it, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those movies where it's a perfect example of a film that you would probably walk by 1,000 times before somebody actually gave it a good rating.
Yeah. Do you think it would be a underrated horror film?
It's a pretty fucking damn good TV film, though.
It is, because it is a TV movie. Was this a sci-fi original?
I believe it was actually made for sci-fi.
And a while back, I said something along the lines of sci-fi used to make solid original films that weren't covered in CGI and weren't bad on purpose. And this is one of those examples where you can see that whoever got this script, it was really basic. It was simple, killer fish, bunch of people, but you can tell that the people involved were actually trying. And that's why it's a good fun time.
Oh yeah, 100%. Fucking Frankenfish. The name still cracks me up.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous, but yeah, surprisingly, and I think that movie was made in 2004, so pretty much what you're saying is correct. So, like these older sci-fi chiller, whatever it was, they used to make pretty decent films,
They definitely did.
So yeah. All right. First film I'm going to talk about tonight is from, I believe this originally came out in 2013, and it came out on Media in 2014. Down in the US, it's on IFC Films. Up in Canada, the IFC Films are released under MO Pictures, which is Mongrel. And this one is called Witching and Bitching.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a fucking oddball film, man. It basically starts out with a group of guys. They are pulling off this heist. They've just held up this, this jewelry store. And oddly enough, the main character actually has his son involved in this because the main guy, he's actually going through a custody battle with his wife. So he's been trying to gain custody of his child. And of course he does the right thing. And, he takes him along on a fucking heist. This movie is actually pretty goofy. So he takes his son along and stuff, and they hold up this place, and they get into this crazy ass car chase, and basically they evade the police, and they end up like in these mountains areas and stuff like that, to go and hide out and whatnot. And they come across this tavern, so they go inside and start doing their thing and shit like that. Anyways, they end up getting invited over to this basically these people's houses and stuff. And what they don't know is it's like a huge coven for like witches and stuff. And they're basically, it's that time of year where they do like this annual, type, I guess it's like an ancient ritual that they're trying to perform and stuff like that. And they become like the guests of honor for it. Right. So, it's pretty much the breakdown of your film. But this one right here is fucking batshit crazy, man. It kind of starts out like this, this heist film, and, it's got that kind of basic story. They go to hideout and whatnot. And then this shit just gets fucking nuts, man. All the people that are living in this huge castle are like witches and shit. And it kind of turns into like a fucking Harry Potter meets like some other weird, there's like these huge ass creatures and shit that are all in this film. And it's fucking batshit crazy, man. This is nothing what I expected it to be. I don't even really want to give too much away, but like, there's basically like a lot of digital effects in this because they created like these like monsters. Like there's this one monster in this film that's like 100 feet tall and shit like that. So all this crazy ass fucking shit's happening. It's like a film I've never seen a movie like this. It's fucking crazy. But really enjoyable. So much shit going on. And basically what they're trying to do is get the fuck out of there before they get like sacrificed to like these giant fucking witch gods and shit like that. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's one film that I think is going to have a lot of mixed opinions on it or about it. I believe this is from Spain. It's a Spanish film. Yeah. So it is fucking batshit crazy, though. I highly recommend this, man. Like, I just don't even know really what to say about it because I don't want to give anything away. But it's very unique and it's different and it's pretty much not what you expect going into it. It's really entertaining, like right from the beginning of the film. I like the whole aspect with the guy's son, you know, and there's literally a scene where they're driving, you know, they're getting chased by the cops in this cab, and the cab driver actually becomes like friends. He's so intrigued by these bank robbers that he actually becomes like one of their gang and stuff. It's so ridiculous. But there's a scene where the boy's in the back seat and the father's talking to the mother on the phone and they're arguing about custody and shit like that. It's fucking quirky, man, but really well done. And then, like I said, when they get to this place, it just goes crazy with the effects. And it's literally like, I'm trying to give people a kind of a visual. It's like Harry Potter characters, like crazy over the top, like crazy shit going on. Highly enjoyable, man. Check out Witching and Bitching, though. I don't even know really how to rate this film either because it's so different and unique, but it's definitely one that you'll remember for a while because it's so different. But I give it about a 7.5 out of 10 because it's just simply for being so original. You know, this one's different.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next one, I actually don't have a pick of the week this week. You know, I did like Frankenfish, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a pick of the week worthy. And this next one isn't either. So this is just last film that I watched this week, and that is, we mentioned it earlier, but it's The Langoliers from 1995. This was a TV miniseries. So The Langoliers follows a group of passengers on a plane headed to Boston. They fall asleep, and when they wake up, a majority of the passengers have disappeared. So there's a group of, say, 10 people that wake up on this plane, and one of them actually is a pilot. So they find out that the pilots that were driving the plane are also gone. So he controls the plane while they try to figure out what the hell's going on. So it's kind of weird because all the people just are gone off the plane, but they left behind like all their possessions, like material possessions, like watches and rings and necklaces and pacemakers. So it's very mysterious right off the gate. Then we have the group of characters, of course. We have this weird guy named Toomey who's kind of a big asshole, like a asshole with a capital A. Like, this guy is a dick. And he's like a business guy, like rich, me type of dude, but he also has like deep-seated issues from his childhood. Then we have a blind girl who can see, or, you know, kind of see like in her head what other people are seeing and hear stuff really well. And she kind of has, she has like, the gift of sight, even though she can't see, basically. She sees, like, kind of foreshadows things. And then, you know, you have your other group of people and stuff, and it's kind of a time travel film as well. As they kind of unravel the mystery, you learn a little bit more and more. I will say that this one's lacking on the horror a little bit. It really focuses on the mystery. And I will say that even though the length of the film is, I believe, like 3 hours long, it kind of does a bad job at times developing the characters. You can tell that there was definitely probably some more character development in the story of The Langoliers from Stephen King, of course, this Stephen King film. But I really, really like the eeriness and this, like, the world that they're in now is like lacking sound and lacking wind and lacking taste and lacking everything that kind of makes things what they are. And I love that about the film. It has this very weird and eerie atmosphere, and you don't really know what the hell's going on. Once you find out what's going on, it's a little wonky. It's like, okay, I guess I'll buy it, but it kind of does take the film down a couple notches, and this has some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I remember
literally, this has like some of it might be the worst. Like, it is awful, but I like the ideas in this film. I just don't know if they were executed as well as they could have been. You know what? When people ask me like what films I would like to see remade, maybe The Langoliers could use a remake.
Yeah, that's a pretty good candidate for that, actually.
Because it's not a super strong film, although I do like it personally. I know that it has problems, but there's just something about these group of passengers who wake up on this plane and they don't know where they are, what's going on, or like what time it is. It's just an odd, sort of interesting idea that I could see really working if handled a little bit better. I want to say like Tom Holland wrote this or something. But overall, The Langoliers is about a 7 out of 10. I might be going a little bit high on that one, but I just enjoy it for its mystery and stuff like that. It does have a terrible ending that ends on like a cheesy ass freeze frame.
Yeah.
But I like it, man. I don't know. What do you think about it? I know you've seen it before. What do you think about it?
Man, I actually haven't watched it in such a long time. I would really have to go back and revisit it to give it an honest, opinion on it. But I do remember the CG in that film being fucking so bad.
Honestly, it's probably worse than you remember it.
Yeah, it probably. I mean, if it's bad back in those days, it probably looks like horrendous now. So yeah, I don't know. I remember liking it, for the most part, but I remember really, really liking the book though.
Oh, really? I've never read the book, but now, did you do you own this?
Yeah, I do.
All right, yeah, because it did go out of print because I seen it on TV when I was a kid and I really liked it back then. I knew it had problems and stuff, but I just liked the mystery of it. And then I wanted to grab it on DVD, but it was out of print. But it just recently got re-released, and you actually can find them in Walmarts now. That's where I got my copy. So definitely check it out. It's worth a watch for sure. Maybe do it in segments because it is 3 hours. Do it like as if it was a miniseries, like airing. Watch the first part of it. The first half of the film one night, and then the second half the next night.
Yeah. I actually have the original release of it, but I've seen the re-release in Walmart and stuff. I should probably pick up the Stand. I never picked up the original release of it, so I gotta grab that re-release. Yeah, I haven't seen the Stand in years, but I should grab that too.
Yeah, it's a bit dated, but it's
yeah.
Cool.
All right, so next film I want to talk about here is from 1996. It's an Italian film released by Synapse Films, and it's called Fatal Frames. This one right here basically follows your main character. His name is Alex. He is an American video maker. He shoots videos for music artists and stuff. He gets this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This Italian promoter comes over to New York and basically tells him that his newest pop sensation wants him to shoot her brand new video. Pop sensation, her name is Stephanie Stella. She's like Italy's biggest thing kind of thing. Anyways, she likes his work and she wants him to shoot his new video. Basically giving him about $100,000 for about 10 days work. And of course he's like, well, fuck, it's obviously awesome. So he accepts the job, goes over to Italy, starts working on this video and whatnot. Right after he gets there, he actually witnesses a murder. And so, of course, he does the right thing. He calls into the police and whatnot. The police show up to where the murder happened, and there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There's no body. There's no blood. There's no evidence. There's nothing. There's no witnesses, anything but him. So the police start questioning him. They're like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, you said you saw like a bloody murder. Where's the blood? Like, where's the evidence and stuff? And he's really confused too. One thing he did notice about the killer, though, is that the killer actually videotapes his murders and stuff. So the police start really kind of questioning Alex's, even sanity. And they actually get to the point where they think that he's the killer himself because, this happens a couple more times. Alex witnesses, some murders and stuff like that. And there's nothing, there's no evidence and all that type of shit. Now the cops are getting really frustrated with them. And of course, Alex is getting really frustrated with the police because he says, he's trying to defend himself. He's like, I'm not fucking lying. I've been seeing these murders. Sooner than later, the police actually kind of do figure out that, this killer is videotaping these killings and whatnot and stuff. So it's basically like this huge kind of like slasher giallo. It's like more of like a modern giallo type film. And that's basically the synopsis of your film. It keeps happening and it's the police investigations. Your very typical type giallo. and stuff like that. This is a pretty interesting film. Now, it's not for everybody. If you do really, really like Italian cinema, I would definitely recommend that you watch this one. What separates this movie from, a lot of older giallos and stuff, it's the way it's shot. This movie is shot so low lit. It's got very low light in it, and it's very blue and gray, and it's very eerie. It creates a very awesome atmosphere throughout the whole film. And it definitely does feel like an authentic Italian film throughout the whole thing. Another really cool element to this film is the soundtrack. Not only do you have the music of this, the sensation or this pop sensation, but you have like this really eerie kind of score to the film too. And it's like completely opposite than the music that's playing. So it really kind of, it adds like this pop kind of feel, but then really dark and dreary feel to it too. It's really unique actually. So many cool things about this movie actually, but the overall structure of the movie, the way it plays out, like I said, it plays out very much like a giallo, very much like a very heavy police investigative story and stuff like that, and a lot of paranoia from Alex and whatnot. But it really does work. I think the kills and I think the whole videotaping thing is a little gimmicky, but it does work for this type of movie. Actually, it actually works quite a bit for what they were doing, but. The fucking main problem with this movie is the ending is fucking horrible. The ending, it brings this movie down so bad. It's such a huge cop-out. What you find out at the end, it's just like, oh my God, it's such a letdown. It's such a major, major letdown. Now, this is an interesting film because it's very unknown, to a lot of people, but it has a lot of interesting appearances in this. It has the great Donald Pleasance in this movie. This is nice. Donald Pleasance's very, very last film he ever appeared in. This is actually right before he died. He plays, he's got a pretty minor character. He plays like a doctor in the film. It's got a couple different scenes with Angus Scrimm in it, which is very cool too. And
what's this film called again?
Fatal Frames. And, it's got a pretty big role by Liana Quigley's in it too. And, David Warbeck's in the film. Also, he's from The Beyond, one of my favorite movies of all time. An Italian actor that always shows up in all these Italian films kind of thing. So, but it's got a pretty interesting cast. But like I said, the way this movie is shot is so fucking unique, man. Like when you watch it, you're just like, holy shit. If you don't... if you want to look up the cover of this movie, it'll give you a very good indication of what the actual movie looks like. The cover does a really good job of what it actually looks like. So very, very low lit blue and gray. I love the atmosphere in this film, but like I said, it was very enjoyable. It took a little bit to get into the movie because it was kind of playing out like a very kind of slow giallo and stuff. But once it gets going, it gets you intrigued because you really do want to find out what the fuck is going on because it doesn't lead you one way or another kind of thing, right? But yeah, the ending though, man. Oh no. It's bad. It's really, really bad. And I was so disappointed. I really wanted to give this one. I was like really enjoying it. Like I said, it took a minute to get into it, which was interesting for me because I usually get drawn to Italian films so easy. But, in the middle, it was kind of good. And then the ending happened. I was like, what the fuck? Even the whole build up to the end was awesome. And then it's like, damn, you just punched me right in the ball sack right there. You just dropped me. But, overall, it was still really fun. Like I said, it's definitely for major, major Italian fans, because you know what you're going to get with it. So if I had to rate this one, I am still going to give it a pretty decent rating because of everything, kind of the uniqueness of the movie. I'll give it about a 7 out of 10 for it. So.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you have a pick of the week?
I actually do have a pick of the week. This is brand new and the very first Blu-ray released by Massacre Video. It's the brand new Adam Albrandt video movie called The Cemetery. I believe this was not released last year. It was shot last year. It came out obviously this year in 2014. This is a really awesome release by Massacre Video. It's a 4-disc Blu-ray DVD set. It's numbered. These are limited edition to 1,000. They're actually come hand numbered. I got number 266, which is really cool. If you're not familiar with Adam Albrandt's work, he did a movie called Crossbear last year or was it last year or 2 years ago? But it was, stirring up a lot of buzz and stuff like that too. So I was really looking forward to seeing this. I still have yet to see Crossbear. I just haven't been able to find. It's really hard to get a copy for cheap. I just don't want to spend like $40. So I was really looking forward to this because he was getting a lot of buzz and whatnot. Anyways, this movie, The Cemetery, basically starts out with a backstory. It's kind of giving your history of the story from like the mid 1600s or whatnot. It's about all these people that were getting killed off by these priests and stuff like that. Basically, the story is that a bunch of people back in like the mid 1600s got like possessed. And what it is that these priests, they couldn't deal with it. They didn't know how to like exorcise these people and whatnot. So their way of dealing with these possessed people was just to kill them. They basically slaughtered women, children, men, and like a whole shitload of people and whatnot. And it became kind of like an urban legend, throughout time and stuff. Like, did these priests actually really just murder people, or were these people actually possessed and whatnot? So it kind of gives you this brief backstory to it. Then it gets into the story. It's basically about these 5 people. They're kind of like paranormal investigators, or they're very cynical type people and whatnot. And so what they do is they set out to the bush to go find the cemetery. It's like located in this very remote area, of course, like in the middle of a forest. And so, of course, they get out there and they find the cemetery and they set up camp right on the cemetery. And not sooner than later, some of the people start getting possessed by these evil spirits and shit like that. And it kind of turns into like a possession film out in the forest and whatnot. I really, really enjoyed this movie, man. It was fantastic. At first, I wasn't really too sure how I felt about it. I got about roughly about a half an hour into the movie. The backstory was very quick, and there was some odd kind of moments in the beginning of the film that were kind of quirky, and I was like, okay, I thought this movie was supposed to be kind of more straight face and stuff. But those moments I got over them really quick. It wasn't really an off-put or anything. The one thing about this movie that did kind of not infuriate me, it's kind of extreme, but did kind of throw me off a little bit, was the soundtrack itself. The soundtrack is like death metal music, but I found that it didn't really work for the type of movie. I think if you had to use more of a just eerie soundtrack, and like when you're out in the bush and some demon's like ripping somebody apart, and all of a sudden like death metal starts kicking in, you're like, what? I don't know, man. It was kind of throwing me off at times, but besides the soundtrack, I think this movie was actually played out pretty well. Like I said, there's moments in the beginning where you're like, oh, okay, is this movie gonna, play out like a horror comedy? But once they get to the bush, it really doesn't. It's actually played pretty straight face, which is awesome. I thought the effects in this film were fucking fantastic. Great gore effects, man. Really great gore effects, man. I couldn't stress that enough. Really good stuff. Really awesome kills and stuff like that. But I really liked, how they utilized a very, very low budget, shot in this kind of remote area, but it really worked. Good cinematography. The dialogue at times is kind of like, it is what it is, right? It's not like overly the greatest, but it keeps you intrigued. But I really do like the whole idea of them trying to figure out, the real history behind these murders and stuff like that. And I like the setting and everything. It's pretty cool, but I do highly recommend The Cemetery. I thought it was fantastic. If you like, demon possession, it's more of a demon film, really. These people get actually like, possessed, and they start going fucking buck wild crazy and shit in the forest. But definitely give this a shot. This has been released on DVD now. So you can pick up the DVD. It's a double disc from Master Video, so it's a lot cheaper than this one. I'm kind of disappointed a little bit because I didn't know what the soundtrack was going to be like, and the fourth disc in this actually is the soundtrack. And I'm like, well, I mean, I can listen to the music, by itself. I just found that the soundtrack was a little much for the film, and it just kind of took me out of it at times. Do you ever have that problem, JP, when you're watching a movie and you feel like the music completely doesn't fit with what you're watching?
Yeah, I've had it a few times. I'm trying to think of, when it happens is when it's like a really like screamo or like super metal-y stuff that I don't really get into. It kind of takes me out a bit.
Well, that's exactly what this was. It was, there's scenes in it, and all of a sudden it's just like, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I mean, to be honest, I really do like metal and like stuff like that. But in certain movies, I find that some people, like some directors and stuff, they're like, everyone that loves horror movies loves death metal music. I've got to throw this crazy death metal music into the film. And I'm like, it's not really the case. I just found it didn't work because it's like they're in this remote forest, and all of a sudden this fucking like crazy double kick fucking growling starts coming out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's just, I don't know, man. So that's one minor flaw to the film. You know, it does happen a bunch of times and stuff, but overall, really, really enjoyable film. I think a lot of people out there will really enjoy this. I had someone ask me, actually, I think it was Zach. He asked me if this was a shot on video film. It's not shot on video. It's, you know, it's shot, you know, low budget digitally, but it's really well shot, actually, and it looks beautiful. It looks really, really fucking beautiful on Blu-ray. I was really impressed with the quality of the film. And the biggest upside to this film is the effects, though. Man, it is gory. It's pretty gory. Really good stuff. So 7.5 out of 10 for The Cemetery. Definitely peep this out. You know, if you want this Blu-ray, get it before it's gone.
Sweet. 7.5, you said?
Yeah, 7.5 out of 10. So I take it you don't have any quick cuts this week?
Oh man, I got tons. No, obviously I don't.
You know what? I'll just run off a real quick one. I'll actually make this quick.
By that he means he will not make it quick cuts.
No. I only have a couple to list off. So, alrighty. So yeah, I got a couple quick cuts here that I'll get into. First up, from 1977, a movie called House. Everybody, well, I mean, not everybody, most people know about this film. It's a batshit fucking crazy ass ghost film about this girl that goes out to her aunt's house and crazy shit starts going on in the house. Really, really fucking awesome film. I couldn't recommend this one enough. JP, you got to grab that Criterion. I give this one about an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely saw that Criterion is one that I might pick up.
Oh, fuck, dude, it's such a blast. It's such a weird movie, dude. It's hard to believe that thing was made in 1977. Like, when you're watching it, dude, you're going to be like, what the fuck? How was this made in 1977?
I've seen clips from it before just because of, like, how it's kind of known as being so damn out there that it's kind of hard to avoid when you're a fan of this genre to at least hear about it.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely one that you got to see, man. It's bizarre. Next up is a film called Dark House. I think Jeremy talked about this one on the podcast. It's Victor Salva's newest film. We all know him as that pedophile. Dark House is a pretty interesting film. I won't go too much into it. It's basically about a guy that, you know, on his 23rd birthday, I think it's his 23rd birthday, gets called by his mom, who's been in this asylum since, like, she was a child and stuff like that. She kind of tells him something about his father that's alive. He goes to investigate, and it kind of plays out from there. It's like this. He's got this special gift where that when he touches somebody, he can actually see their death and stuff like that. So he goes to investigate because he wants to meet his father, and all this crazy ass shit starts happening. It's a pretty interesting premise to the film. In my opinion, it's executed at times a little poorly. I did like a lot of different aspects of the film. I think it's not as bad as people are making out, but it's definitely above average. I give it about a 6.5 out of 10. I also watched another movie that Jeremy absolutely loves. For the first time, I finally got a copy of this, and that's of All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Finally watched this anthology film a couple nights ago, and you know, it was a little underwhelming, I have to say. Jeremy, I know this one made his top 10 list. Mm-hmm. I didn't overly care for this that much, to be honest. There was a lot of good elements. I thought the acting was pretty good. The first short was basically about this demon that was like ripping babies out of this woman. You can't really get into these shorts too much, or else you just give the whole damn thing away. Yeah. But yeah, you know, that's the short and long of it. The second one's got an alien, and the third one has got this creepy ass fucking clown doing this crazy ass gory slasher shit, which is by far the best short. The third one is awesome, and the third one actually rolls into like the wraparound story.
Yeah.
And it actually does really work, but I find the first two shorts to be not that great at all. Mm-hmm. But you know, the third short, which is kind of shot grindhousey and goes into the wraparound story, which is actually pretty cool in my opinion. Kind of saves the entire film, and actually it's pretty well done. Well, but man, I don't know about the first two.
Ever since Jeremy talked about this film, I actually learned a little bit of a backstory on that film, and the third short, the one with the clown or whatever, was actually just a short film. Like, when the guy made that, it was just as a short film, and he went and, I believe it was on YouTube or something, and he took that short film and decided to create a feature-length anthology around that short film. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why, like,
You know what? That explains a lot of the quality then, because the first two are shot, basically what the story is in the beginning of the film is that this girl is babysitting her friend's kids, and one of the kids, or they were out trick-or-treating, and the boy gets his videotape in his candy bag. So they start watching the videotape, and that's how these shorts play out, right?
Yeah.
So the first two shorts, in my opinion, were way too clean. Like, if this is playing off a VHS tape, I think that they should have all kind of looked like the third short, which is, apparently why this whole movie was made in the first place. That third one is very grindhouse looking, kind of VHS quality and stuff. It's really awesome. I think the first two, you can tell, are just completely different. They're shot differently. They look different, everything. So, I mean, that story completely makes sense to the film now.
Yeah.
And, the third story is so good. It's really, really good in how it ties into the wraparound story and stuff, but fucking makes a lot of sense, man.
What would you rate it?
I give it about a 6.5. Like I said, the acting was pretty good, and I've really enjoyed the third short, and to the wraparound story, fucking saved that movie, man. I think Jeremy did say that the second short wasn't very good, though.
I think he did too. I think he was mainly championing the clown short or whatever, but he did give All Hallows Eve a 8 out of 10.
Holy shit. Crazy. Yeah, so I give it about a 6.5. I mean, as a whole film, it doesn't really work too well for me, but I mean, I do loosely recommend it, though.
All right.
And last up for the quick cuts is Dolls, Scream Factory's Blu-ray release from 1987. Basically about a bunch of people that all kind of end up at this house in the woods with this creepy old couple. You've got these real nasty parents and their little cute daughter. They're real fucking nasty to her. You got a couple hitchhikers, and then you got like a business guy. They all get kind of stranded out in this storm, and then these old people take them all in. And these old people, they make dolls, and these dolls walk and talk and do crazy shit, start picking them off one by one. Everybody knows Dolls. I guess you've never seen Dolls, have you?
Mm-mm.
I love Dolls. I love Dolls. Everything about Dolls. It's got great atmosphere. The dolls kick ass. The characters are stupid. The kills are awesome. I don't know, man. Everything about Dolls is just fantastic to me. But I will say the Blu-ray transfer is fantastic. It does look really good. It's got lots of features and stuff. But I give Dolls a 9 out of 10.
Whoa.
Definitely check it out. I love Dolls. It's great. It's my favorite killer doll film of all time.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so that is going to do it for the What We Watch portion and the quick cuts for this week. So getting into the main review, or the main feature.
The featured review.
The featured review. Yes, that's what we'll call it. The featured review. This is another Scream Factory release. I think originally this movie came out in 2011. Am I right, JP?
True that. In Colombia.
In Colombia. It's a Colombian film, which is very interesting. You don't see a lot of horror films come out of Colombia. But yeah, this one's just been newly released by Scream Factory, and it is called The Squad. JP, do you want to give the synopsis on this one?
Okay, so The Squad from 2011, released on video in 2014, courtesy of Scream Factory. After losing contact with a military base, a high mountain unit is sent to investigate. Upon arrival, they find only a woman in chains behind a wall. Isolation and the impossibility of escape serve to undermine the soldiers' judgment. That is an IMDb description, by the way.
Well, that works. That works.
Okay, man. So what did you think? What is your let me ask you this. What was your first impressions on The Squad? Your very first impressions.
My very first impressions from this film, the very first time I looked at the clock was about 15 minutes into it. And I said to myself, I was like, wow, the beginning of this movie it's very patient. It's very patient with itself. But the problem is, for me, is that the patient part of the film never got aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny.
This movie
because,
stays the same mode the entire film. There is nothing to this, man. I was like, holy fuck.
You know what? We'll get into it definitely, because I 100% agree with it. But I thought it was funny because you texted me and was like, was like, holy crap, look at the runtime. And I was like, I was already almost done watching it, and I was like, spoiler alert, it drags.
I was at the 40-minute mark, and I was like, dude, I'm at the 40-minute mark, and this movie is slow.
It is very slow.
You're slow.
And that is like probably the best point you can possibly make, is it starts out slow and it never goes aggressive. Like that, you said that perfect, because that's absolutely right. There's long, lingering shots with too much silent time. It is seriously just, it's almost to like awkwardly long, lingering shots at times. I will say though, right away when the film starts and they kind of get to where they're going, the soldiers that is, I thought the setting of this thing was amazing, and I thought I was going to be in for something like fantastic, because the atmosphere and the actual setting, like just the trenches and the fog and like the hilltop, like I thought it looked truly amazing. I was like, wow, this is beautiful.
Well, yeah, man, I completely agree. I love the opening setting in this film, and it's very ominous, and the atmosphere was awesome. With
great word,
and it's the fog and the atmosphere and like the silent. It really does work in the beginning of the film. You're like, holy shit, man! Like
I thought I was watching like a John Carpenter film at the beginning. Like even when they go into the bunker area with like the blood everywhere, like I was like, this is the thing. This feels like the thing right now.
Some of the positives to the film are, in my opinion, I think it really does have a really good score to the film. It does fit. It's very like ominous.
It really does. The score helps the visuals very well with the fog and that ominous tone.
The director didn't pull any punches with it. He never tried to jump scare. He never really did anything. He just kind of created an atmosphere that really did work. It was a very somber atmosphere. It was so like, it was almost like tone deaf. It was just like there, but the problem is that atmosphere, that tone never changes throughout the film. You need a build up. This movie needed to go somewhere, and it never did.
Well, I honestly will say that I thought there was, towards the end of the film, I thought that there was a pretty effective emotional death.
But
I feel like by the point, you don't care anymore.
Exactly. And that's actually one of the, the cons to this film for me is, there's a lot of time for character development in this film, and you do learn little bits about the characters, but it's not enough to care about them overly that much. You know what? I was actually going to point out that, like, you're right. We do learn a little bit, but it still feels like we never get to really know the soldiers. We never get to be invested in them. There's too much downtime, which there's not a lot of talking, which there should be, because there's so much downtime. There should be more character stories, characters talking to each other, characters telling backstories, telling stories, telling showing off their personality through these soldier talk, right? There's a lack of conversation, and that's just the beginning, because there's also a lack of individuality. I felt like these characters weren't individual enough. I couldn't tell them apart. Now, it being a foreign film doesn't, lend any favors to that, because, the voices are harder to recognize, like, distinctions in voices and stuff like that. But I really felt like these were not individual enough. I felt like these characters were hard to tell apart, and I couldn't really get a grasp on, like who's this guy? Who's that guy? Yeah, totally. I think one of the main issues with this movie is that it doesn't really know where it wants to go or what it wants to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I understand these people are basically secluded. They're in this desolate area. They can't get out of there. They have no communication with anybody. And they're wondering, like, who this girl is. Like, who's this lady that's all tied up and shit like that? Is she a witch? Is she responsible for what happened there? So everyone's kind of like questioning it. The paranoia is starting to kick in. But then the movie kind of moves away from the aspect of this potential witch knocking them off one by one. And it basically turns into a battle of, paranoia, and, it becomes a struggle between the soldiers, and that's really what it is. It kind of totally gets away from the whole witch aspect, and then you get a final glimpse of it, like in the end of the film. But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really know where it wants to go. I mean, I understand that, like, you're probably going to go a little crazy in the one character that's completely fucking paranoid as shit. Like, everybody is bad. Everyone's part of the fucking Taliban, or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Yeah.
But they get away from the whole witch thing, and like where is this going? I just wanted it to go. I wanted to explore that witch aspect, or what actually happened at this area, like why they're there.
That's
they're
actually what I was going to point out, is that, one thing back what I was saying, the individuality thing, like the way you do that is by telling stories, having backstories, doing that. But what you were saying about you wanted to know more about what happened there, like that is another thing. Backstory, give some sort of I don't mean like investigation as in like ghost, like a ghost movie or something, but like poke around, go into different rooms, find a bloody something, they should have watched John Carpenter's The Thing before they made this film, because I feel like these films are similar in terms of this film's trying to capture that tone and feeling, that paranoia, but they never really get going with it, and they never really know how to appropriately structure. Well,
that's the thing,
story. Because
they completely focus on the character's isolation and the paranoia that's coming from their isolated situation, right? But and that's what it kind of turns into. Like I said, they totally don't get into, that whole reason of why they're there. They're there, this woman obviously has something to do with it, but then it totally focuses on something else. I just think the direction was it was a little wish-washy there. You know what I'm saying? And it sucks too, because like when you're these characters, even though you don't know much about them and stuff, I have to say that the performances by the characters were very authentic. I thought the acting was really well done in this film.
And that's what I was talking about.
It's
that one emotional death. I thought that was like, if you would just take that scene and like remove the rest of the movie around it, like, and I just showed you that scene, you'd be like, wow, that's a very emotional, effective scene. The problem is, like I said, by that point in the film, you just are waiting for it to go over, because you're like, well, like, cause you're holding on, right? This is a film where you're waiting, you're like, okay, like, I'm holding on here, like do something. You're waiting for something for it to escalate and turn into like, oh, that's what it was. Like, that's why everything was so slow. But like, that never happens. And, it just pains me so much, because one, I was looking forward to this film, and two, it had so much going for it. Like,
I know it had so much potential.
It really did, and it like crushed me when I realized that. Like, I know, you get to that certain point where you're like, we're in way too deep now. There's no turning back. Like, you can't redeem yourself anymore, because it's like it's late into the film right now.
The movie really kind of like, it loses a lot, because the whole tone and the whole pacing of it never really changes, but it loses a lot of steam, like basically when they kind of go into the building and stuff, and it never really recovers from that, seeing those outside shots and stuff. Like the stuff that's in like the first quarter of the film is really, really beautifully shot. A lot of maybe a little too much up close shots of the characters and stuff. They didn't really pull back. You didn't get to see a lot of like wide shots of like the actual setting, but they really disintegrate that when they go into the building and never really get back out there until like the very end and stuff. And it's just, it kind of feels like, I mean, it does work for the isolation portion of the film. The way the director film or the cinematographer shot this film, everything is really close up. You ever did you notice that in the film? Like every conversation, every shot, like
I definitely
the camera is right in their face, like in every shot. Which I understand why they do that, because they're isolated, they're very contained, they're stuck where they are. It makes sense to shoot like that, but it's kind of like,
Well,
I don't know, man. It
comes from what you said earlier, and it is what was the purpose of this film? What was they trying to do? Was they trying to make this paranoid story where these characters turn on each other, or they, do this, or was they trying to make this witch film, or what? Like, I truly feel like there was not a predetermined decision to where to take this film. Like, it feels like they wanted to combine a few things, and maybe they thought they knew where they wanted to take it, but they definitely didn't execute it, because it really doesn't, ask yourself, what was the purpose of this story?
And that's what I question about the film. Like I said, they didn't really know what they were going with this, the paranoia or the struggle between the soldiers or the witch deal.
You just do that. If you just do the John Carpenter's The Thing, the paranoia type story, you have enough tools, and the setting works great for this, but it feels like they never really went full on board with that, or they never really went full on board with the witch story either.
That leads me to my next point. It's like, this movie to me kind of feels like a horror film, or it's like a drama disguised as a horror film.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too, that it's absolutely lacking in horror,
because of the whole elements where they give you this idea of the witch and stuff, but then they never execute anything on it. They never show anything. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like, it just seems like such a wasted opportunity. I think if they had focused a little more, or maybe a little less on the, the paranoia and the, the isolation.
See, but I find that scary as well. No,
it does. There's elements of that do work, but I think, because they keep bringing up, who the fuck is this? And she did all this stuff, and then it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I almost feel like I would have liked that film better, though. I think that the
well, then don't give me that witch aspect then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was the problem.
Just leave that shit out of there.
That was the problem. But they never really ran with the paranoia aspect either, and that is the problem too. Because, I would have rather seen that film, but not this way, because they didn't do it right. There wasn't enough build-up. There wasn't enough high-pressure situations to
There's
really...
absolutely the slowest build-up ever that doesn't even get to the point where it can explode,
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you do the slow build-up, it has to be a pressure cooker, right? There has to be pressure with the slowness, and there's no pressure here. It just, you don't really ever feel it happening. It's just
the tension,
very long and lingering scenes, man.
I mean, the tension in the film is basically yourself. You're watching this film and you're getting all tense. You're like, fuck, man, I just want something to happen. But, to be honest, you really just want the one character to get fucking killed. Yeah. Because he's such an asshole, man. And you're just like, fuck. And you kind of lose where I think at one point in the film they were trying to go towards this witch aspect, but then it totally focuses on this isolation and all this crazy shit. And you're just like, but I think the ending of the film is a total shit show, though. Because... what the fuck is that?
That's you.
Oh. Anyways, the very end scene in the film. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna put that into there, but it never really focuses. I don't know, man. I had issues with that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the very last shot in the film was just really, that's what we get?
Yeah, the very last shot, definitely. I was like, oh, wow. But, I like the idea of the squad, I like these films like Dog Soldiers and Predator to a certain extent, and even, what was the film? The Outpost. These are solid.
I felt that this movie was kind of trying to be like Outpost a little bit. A
little bit.
Completely different storyline, obviously, and stuff like that. But there was elements in the film that just kind of reminded me of Outpost so much. Mm-hmm. I actually thought about that.
Yeah. But, and this was the one, for me. I thought this was going to be the one to do it how, I've always had these ideas for the military or, a squad, a platoon of soldiers, and, I thought this was going to be it. But, I really want to see more of these type of films. Just that they got to really know what they're gonna do with the characters in the story, because this is honestly a frustrating film for me because there was so much that I liked about it. You know, the score and I think it has like honestly some of the better atmosphere that I've seen as of late, and it's just all wasted. And the setting, I was in love with that setting. I was like amazed. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, the scene where they're actually outside in that really thick fog and they start firing at shit, that was fucking crazy. Because like, man, you put yourself into that position and you're like, fuck. It's kind of scary, man. It's eerie because you already don't know what the hell's going on, you know, and you can't see anything. I really liked that scene. I thought that was good. It was good. You know, I just felt that this film could have worked better as a short film. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, this movie was way too long. This movie was way too long.
That's so obvious too, and I don't know how somebody wouldn't have like intervened and was like, look, we gotta trim this thing. Like, I honestly feel like you could have lost 20 minutes easy 20 minutes.
You could have lost 30 minutes in this film.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much you could have cut out of this, man.
Would it have been better? Maybe. It would have been better. Like it...
I mean, this movie runs 110 minutes. You know, that's a long fucking movie.
What happens?
What happens?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what... Like,
I know exactly.
With that long of a movie, it's like if somebody asked me like, well, what all happens in it, and I'm like, well, it's really atmospheric. Like, this is
the whole movie is diluted.
Really style over substance.
It's kind of weird because this movie almost has like so much atmosphere and things kind of going for it, but it almost dilutes the entire film. This is what you get when you watch it. You watch a nice setting with a good atmosphere, and that's all you get. It dilutes everything else that is actually in there, or supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't offer anything else up. You know, I don't even remember last time I watched a movie that just had this no build up, like at all. You know, it's so crazy to watch a movie like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly don't have a whole lot more to say about it if you'd want to throw out your rating.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it either. I mean, I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean, like I said, it was just such a shame. I just wish I wish there was something there at the end. It's so disappointing. So disappointing. Everything looks so authentic though, like the costume, everything looked good in this movie. They did a really good job. You know, production value to it, but it's just, you got to develop it more, man. You got to have something there. You got to give something back to the viewer.
I did
in the end of the
this film had over $1 million budget.
Yeah. You know, it sucks because I just felt so ripped off by the end. I was like, the fuck? I just sat through, you know, an hour and 10 film, or, you know, almost a 2-hour film. I mean, and fuck, got nothing. So, I don't know. You know, with all the good qualities of this film, there is like a lot of good things. Like I said, the score was good, really good atmosphere. You know, there's a lot of things that are going for this. Great acting, great setting, a lot of good stuff. But, you know, even with all those things that I love in films, you still have to deliver, you know, a solid story, and you need a good ending. And film like this, you need a good ending. You know, this type of movie.
I honestly
is all
don't even
about
think a ending could have like really done much. Like, I don't even know how you would make an amazing ending to save like that long of nothing.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, this type of movie needs a good ending. You know? So maybe some editing. This movie definitely needed some trimming, for sure. You know, with all the good things and stuff, I mean, I guess I can't really recommend this film. You know, it's so hard, but I can't give it like a really shitty low rating either because there's a lot of good things about it. I'm just going to give it a 5 out of 10, man.
Yeah, see, you know what? The thing is, I was debating on my rating because, I mean, I take into account the atmosphere and setting and cinematography and score. Like, that is all top notch in this film. It's actually above. It's way above standard, right?
I do agree.
It's actually pretty damn good. But the thing is, to me, you have to have those other things that matter, like story and pace. And pace. You know, especially story in a film like this, it's slow. Like, if you're having a slow burn, you have to have a story, because then it's nothing. Because, you know, if you have bottom line, this film is absolutely a 5 out of 10. It's as average as it comes because you cannot recommend it, and it is good enough to where you can't give it below a 5 because it has way above standard, technical features.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that we're on the same page on that one because, you know, it's such a shame. I'm so disappointed by this movie right now. Mm-hmm. I just wanted something out of it, you know, and I was like, fuck, there's so much potential. And oh, wow. I haven't been this disappointed in a film in a long time, actually.
Yeah, because you know me, even I was like excited to review this one for a while because, you know, like when I seen the cover art and I was like, The Squad, like I love those type of films, like that idea. And I was like, I actually heard some good things about it. And I believe even, Dread Central has a quote on the cover that says, you know, like a real high praise quote. And I was like, all right. I see what's going on here. This looks like it's going to be a hit.
Well, you know what their quote says? It says, they give it 4 stars, actually. It says, remarkably atmospheric and well-crafted horror film. Well, I agree
with both of those statements, actually. I mean, you know, well, I guess craft kind of has to be the whole package.
I don't think the well-crafted horror film is you know, legit.
I don't even know if I agree with horror.
Well, that's the thing. It's like a drama film disguised as a horror film, kind of. You know, I don't know.
Are they rating out of 10?
No, I think that's probably like their 5-star rating or whatever.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 is pretty fucking. I mean, that's equivalent to like 8 out of 10 for us. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I agree. 5 out of 10.
Underwhelming.
Very, very, very underwhelming. Wow, so disappointed in this one. That sucks, but yeah. Alrighty, so I guess that's going to do it for episode 32 of the 22 Shots of Moods and Horror. Generally, I would give it to Jeremy right now so he could, you know, ring off all of our websites and phone numbers and all that type of stuff. But this week, he is not here with us, as you've probably noticed for the last couple hours. So we are not going to do this week. All the links will be down below in the video or on podcast.
I'll give out a few links real quick, just because I know them. So obviously, check out the Face group page. That's how you can get in contact with us. That's where we're most active. The YouTube channels, Moodz 616, DoubleshotJ, NES Roller 22. The voicemail. Hit up the voicemail, guys. Why are you guys being so scared of the voicemail? 724-426.
Well, because one person left a message and got their head torn off.
Yes. I guess a little bit. But, you know, we was a little unsure about the context of the voicemail, but it's all sorted out now. So that voicemail number is, once again, 724-426-6665. Definitely hit that up, guys. We might even have to do a contest for the voicemail just to get some more people unafraid of hitting that up. Of course, the brand new 22 Shots of moodsandhorror.com website. Hit that up because that's going to be awesome once we start getting some more content rolling there. You can find this episode there as well as all of the other episodes. 22 Shots podcast on Twitter. Hit us up there. And of course, the email, which is 22shotsofmoodsandhorror@gmail.com. So that is it. We are done. We're through. We're out.